Just started university, and my beautiful tutor turns out to be the mother of my child. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 1426, All-Round Talent. Afterwards, Lin Feng drove Zhang Yuxi to a high-end shopping mall. This way, Zhang Yuxi could not only eat delicious food, but also go shopping. "Hello, are you two? Do you have a reservation?" the waiter of the restaurant asked respectfully. Yes, Lin Feng said expressionlessly. "Okay, please come in." The waiter of the restaurant took them to a seat by the window. It happened that the window seat overlooked the night view of the city. It was magnificent. It added a lot of atmosphere to tonight's dinner. "Here are the menus," the waiter of the restaurant said. "Thank you," Lin Feng said lightly. Then he handed the menu to Zhang Yuxi. "Wife, take a look. What do you want to eat?" Lin Feng said gently. "Hubby, please order," Zhang Yuxi said coquettishly. After all, she was not good at ordering food. So usually she let Lin Feng make the choice. She was just responsible for eating. Be a useless salted fish. "Please give me one of your 5 signature dishes." Lin Feng turned his head and said to the waiter beside him. "Add 2 desserts for me, 1 for each person." Then Lin Feng continued to speak. Because he knew that Zhang Yuxi liked desserts, and the desserts of this restaurant were famous for being delicious. So he ordered 2 desserts for Zhang Yuxi as after-meal desserts. "Okay, wait a moment," the restaurant waiter said respectfully. At this time, Zhang Yuxi held her cheeks with both hands and stared at Lin Feng happily. Her face was full of smiles. Lin Feng always had some actions that made her extremely moved. "Silly wife. You're drooling if you look at me again." Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi looking at him with a crazy look on his face, and deliberately said jokingly. Zhang Yuxi blushed instantly. "Hey, I'm just looking." She smiled lightly and said proudly. "What are you thinking about, my wife?" With a silly smile on your face, Lin Feng said dotingly. "Thinking about my husband. Who makes my husband so good? He is gentle and considerate, a real warm man." Zhang Yuxi said proudly. Sometimes she even felt that all this beauty was like a dream. She was so happy that it was a little unreal. Unexpectedly, the appearance of Lin Feng completely changed her life. In the past, because of the pressure from school and parents, all kinds of things piled up in her heart, so that she could never feel real happiness. So Lin Feng could always catch a trace of sadness in her eyes. However, since Lin Feng appeared in her life, Zhang Yuxi's world has changed dramatically. She is happy from the bottom of her heart. Sometimes she is even wrapped in Lin Feng's love and is extremely happy. So she has always been very grateful to meet Lin Feng. Get to know each other, and fall in love. "Do you think your husband is very good?" Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi and said with a smile. "Oh, of course it's good. It's..." Zhang Yuxi said mischievously. "Huh? What is it?" Lin Feng pinched Zhang Yuxi's face and said. "Autisk, you just love pinching my face too much?" Zhang Yuxi pursed her lips and said. "Ha ha ha. My wife is so cute." Lin Feng laughed. Looking at the woman he loved deeply in front of him, her pink little face was like a red apple. I was touched by her cuteness again. Then, the two had a pleasant dinner together. After that, Lin Feng took Zhang Yuxi to the shopping mall. It had been a long time since he accompanied her to go shopping. It was a rare occasion for her to come here tonight, so he must satisfy her wishes. After all, no girl doesn't like shopping. The mall they are in is mainly for high-end consumers, so basically all the goods are high-end and above, and all kinds of brands are complete. Lin Feng is also a VIP member of these brands. Usually, Lin Feng will create some small surprises for Zhang Yuxi in life. Bags, clothes, cosmetics, skincare products, all kinds of things. Lin Feng sometimes comes to buy alone and then brings them back to Zhang Yuxi. So, most of Zhang Yuxi's things in the cloakroom at home were bought by Lin Feng. The two walked hand in hand all the way through the mall. Passing by a famous brand bag store, Lin Feng wanted to take Zhang Yuxi in to choose. "Honey, I have enough bags." "No, and this brand of bag is not cheap." Zhang Yuxi stopped and tugged at Lin Feng's sleeve and spoke. Lin Feng smiled knowingly and looked at Zhang Yuxi tenderly. Of course he knew what Zhang Yuxi meant, she just felt sorry for wasting money. Because in her daily life, Zhang Yuxi never spent lavishly, unless she had to. Her own savings were basically used for study, daily necessities, or on Lin Feng. Although she has a lot of brand name bags, all kinds of brand name clothing, and all kinds of skincare and cosmetics. These were all prepared by Lin Feng for her, so every time Lin Feng prepared a surprise for her, she would complain about Lin Feng spending money indiscriminately after being happy. Women, that's it. It seems that it's not okay without surprises, and if there are surprises, she will feel sorry for the money. So every time Lin Feng would tell her not to worry about money, he has the skills and ability to make money. Indeed. Since the system has rewarded all aspects of skills, he is basically an all-round talent after his rebirth. Rich and talented, a perfect personality. So buying these things for his beloved girl is a piece of cake. Lin Feng just feels that no matter how much he buys for Zhang Yuxi, it is not enough, and his woman must be given the most and the best. And he is fully capable of supporting her now, no mistake. So he can understand that Zhang Yuxi is distressed about money. After all, she thinks that it is not easy for me to worry about big and small things every day. Wife, don't worry about money. Buy whatever you like. We have plenty of money. Lin Feng said firmly. After speaking, he immediately took Zhang Yuxi into the store. Husband, before Zhang Yuxi could react, she had already reached the counter. Hello, Mom. The salesgirl in the store greeted with a smile. Zhang Yuxi also smiled faintly and nodded. The salesgirl looked the customer up and down to confirm whether he was a valid customer. Generally, the salesgirls in domestic brand name bag stores are very arrogant, and they will treat customers differently based on their appearance. They look superior and look down on people. Therefore, luxury goods are consumed by rich people, and the salesgirls there often do not know the seriousness of the matter. They think they are serving high-end people, and will treat customers of different price levels with discriminatory eyes. This is the norm for salesgirls in various shopping malls and brands. Of course, it does not exclude those salesgirls who treat customers equally. Chapter 1427, Officials are allowed to set fires, but ordinary people are not allowed to light lamps. Hello. Excuse me, is there anything I can help you with? The salesgirl asked politely. Because she carefully scanned Zhang Yuxi from head to toe, she found that the skirt she was wearing was also very popular this year, the forefront of fashion. Even the bag she was carrying was a limited edition in the store, and it was genuine. So after confirming that Zhang Yuxi was a valid customer, she naturally became more friendly and enthusiastic. It's okay, I'll just take a look. Zhang Yuxi replied lightly. Okay, call me anytime if you need me. The salesgirl smiled and said. Then she stepped back a few meters away and waited quietly to observe. Zhang Yuxi also slowly looked around and took a simple look. It seemed that there was no bag she liked. Husband, let's go. Zhang Yuxi turned her head and said. What's wrong, don't you like it? Lin Feng asked. He also noticed that Zhang Yuxi didn't seem to be very interested in what was in front of her. Zhang Yuxi nodded and was about to pull Lin Feng out of the store. At this time, Lin Feng beside her grabbed her hand. Wife, wait a minute. Lin Feng said with a smile on his face. Zhang Yuxi looked at Lin Feng with a puzzled look, not knowing what he was going to do. It was mysterious, but Zhang Yuxi didn't think much about it. Lin Feng waved to the salesgirl not far away, and the salesgirl came over immediately. Hello, sir, how can I help you? The salesgirl asked with a smile on her face. Hello, where's the matte black Princess Diana bag? Lin Feng said lightly. Question mark? How did Lin Feng know that she liked this bag? She didn't remember mentioning it to Lin Feng. And he remembered it so clearly. Zhang Yuxi thought to herself, and was instantly moved by the man in front of her. Lin Feng always remembered the things she liked clearly, and then turned them into cash. How lucky she was to meet Lin Feng. Husband Zhang Yuxi called Lin Feng softly, without saying too much. There were tears in her eyes, full of love. Lin Feng naturally understood, turned his head and looked at Zhang Yuxi gently, smiling. Little crybaby. Lin Feng whispered. He also scratched Zhang Yuxi's nose with his hand, and at the same time held her hand tightly. The salesgirl's eyes immediately lit up, thinking that this man was a tasteful man and seemed to be a regular customer. She didn't directly say the brand of the bag, but directly grasped the key words of the bag. Yes, sir, but this one will arrive next month. You can leave your phone number first and I will call you when the goods arrive. This one is very popular and the goods are in short supply. Sir, you have a good eye. The salesgirl said with a very polite smile. Okay. Lin Feng replied simply. Then he left his contact information with the salesgirl. Medium size, with a silk scarf. Lin Feng continued to speak to the salesgirl indifferently. Sir, you really have a good taste. This bag is made of cowhide and is wear resistant, and the frosted finish is very cool and fashionable. It will be so beautiful when paired with a houndstooth scarf. The salesgirl said excitedly. She didn't expect that the man in front of her knew so much about this bag. Even Zhang Yuxi looked at Lin Feng in disbelief. The bag alone cost 38,000 yuan, plus the scarf cost 1,900 yuan, so the total cost was almost 50,000 yuan. Zhang Yuxi was moved, but she still felt sorry for the money. Husband, how did you know? Zhang Yuxi said with a puzzled look. I saw it in your collection on Zaya and Hongshu. I thought you must like it. So I wrote it down, thinking that I would bring you to buy it when I have time. Lin Feng explained doubtingly. Husband. Zhang Yuxi was speechless at this time, she was so moved. In the cloakroom at home, a whole row of bags on the shelf were all bought by Lin Feng. Many of them have no chance to carry, because there are too many. But Lin Feng still buys her branded bags as usual. Even if Zhang Yuxi can't carry so many, it's happy to buy them and put them there for her to see, just as a collection. Lin Feng pinched her little face. Don't be too touched, silly. There will be more in the future. And don't worry about the money anymore. Your husband has plenty of money. Don't worry. Lin Feng said jokingly. If there are more, there won't be room at home. Zhang Yuxi wrinkled her nose mischievously and said. The salesgirl next to her saw this scene and laughed. I guess this bag today is bought for this lady. Madam, you are so happy. The salesgirl said with envy. Thank you, Zhang Yuxi responded politely. The goods will arrive next month. Remember to call me to pick them up. Lin Feng said to the salesgirl before leaving the store. Okay, sir and madam, take care. The salesgirl replied immediately. So Lin Feng took Zhang Yuxi's hand and walked to the next destination. Hubby, I'll go buy you some clothes. Zhang Yuxi said. She has saved a lot of money these days, including the money Lin Feng gave her, and the money she earned as a tutor, etc., so she has a considerable income. Zhang Yuxi is also a very talented girl. She has good academic performance and is excellent in all aspects. Her knowledge and ability alone are enough for her to earn a lot of money. She also wanted to save money to buy various gifts for Lin Feng. After all, after Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi got together, everything on his body was carefully selected by Zhang Yuxi. The love between the two of them is truly a two-way journey. I don't want it, I have clothes. I'm going to buy it for you today. Lin Feng said with a proud face. In fact, he didn't want Zhang Yuxi to spend her hard-earned money like this. Although he would deposit a huge sum of money into Zhang Yuxi's card every month. But he never squandered the money Lin Feng gave her. And privately helped Lin Feng save it, or discussed how to manage his finances. Zhang Yuxi is a real finance major, so she is always more sensitive to money and is very capable in financial management. No? Why not? Zhang Yuxi pinched Lin Feng's face and said. She knew in her heart that Lin Feng just didn't want her to spend money. So when she was asked to buy him clothes, she immediately said no. Yes. I'll pay for it myself. Wife, pick out the styles for me. Hey. Lin Feng immediately said with a grin. Well. Then. I don't want that bag either. Don't buy me anything in the future. I don't want it either. Zhang Yuxi said with her hands on her hips in a proud and arrogant manner. Okay, my wife. Are you threatening me? It's only natural for a husband to buy things for his wife. It must be. Lin Feng said with a wronged look. Yo, only the officials are allowed to set fires, and the people are not allowed to light lamps. Zhang Yuxi laughed and said. I don't care. Lin Feng also responded proudly. I'm threatening you. I have to buy you clothes today. The seasons will change soon, so I'll prepare new clothes for you in advance. Don't resist. This is my wife's order. Zhang Yuxi said, showing her status symbol. At this time, Lin Feng laughed. Ha ha ha. He didn't say much, because he was very excited at this moment. He was so lucky to meet Zhang Yuxi. Such a good fiancée, future wife. He was so happy. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 1428 1.08 million. Fool, what are you laughing at? Lin Feng immediately shut up when he heard Zhang Yuxi's words, and looked at her with a doting face. Fool? This is also what Zhang Yuxi often called him when they were together just now. He was willing to be Zhang Yuxi's fool. Husband, can you buy me clothes? I'll take you to a place first. Lin Feng said mysteriously again. What are you doing? Zhang Yuxi said. Don't worry about it, just follow me. After Lin Feng finished speaking, he immediately took Zhang Yuxi to the store of famous brand watches. Zhang Yuxi looked at the scene in front of her and immediately understood Lin Feng's intention. Husband, I don't need it. Zhang Yuxi said just a few short words. She knew that Lin Feng brought her here to buy her a watch. She had heard Lin Feng mention before that he wanted to buy a couple watch. So now she understood the purpose of coming here. Yes. Couple watch. One for each of us. Lin Feng said firmly. You must listen to me this time. Then Lin Feng spoke seriously. Seeing Lin Feng's serious look, Zhang Yuxi didn't say much and did as he said. She went into the famous watch store with him. Hello, Mr. Lin. The clerk in the store said respectfully. Mr. Lin? How did the clerk know Lin Feng? Could it be? Zhang Yuxi thought in her heart. Hello, has the goods I want arrived? Lin Feng said lightly. It's here, it's here. Mr. Lin, Mrs. Lin, please sit down. Wait a moment. The clerk said and turned to pick up the goods. Honey, have you been here before? Zhang Yuxi asked. Yes. This watch is hard to buy. It's often out of stock. I can only buy it through an insider and pay extra money. Lin Feng responded. Indeed, this series of watches may not be sold in the market even if you have money. It is extremely difficult to buy and often out of stock. Lin Feng also waited 2 days in advance for the goods to arrive. He still got to know some insiders and bought it through some channels at a higher price. Then the clerk carefully placed the watch in front of Lin Feng. Royal Oak Offshore Series. Mr. Lin, according to your requirements, the men's model is 40 mm, and Mrs. Lin's is 31 mm. The clerk said with a smile. Wife, try it. I specially chose the white color you like. Lin Feng said dotingly. Then he picked it up and helped Zhang Yuxi put it on. Then he put on his own. How is it? Wife, does it look good? Lin Feng said. Yes. Zhang Yuxi nodded shyly. Then the clerk told Lin Feng a series of follow-up handling of the watch. Global warranty for 2 + 3 years. For 3 years, you only need to scan the QR code on the warranty card to register. Pack it up. Lin Feng said calmly. Okay, Mr. Lin. Excuse me, do you want to pay by credit card? The clerk asked excitedly. Card swipe. Lin Feng replied lightly. After that, he handed the card to the clerk. Mr. Lin, the total is 1.08 million, please confirm. The clerk said respectfully. Lin Feng simply confirmed 1.08 million. This number shocked Zhang Yuxi's heart. 1.08 million for a pair of watches. Although she knew that Lin Feng was not short of money. But she still felt that it was unnecessary and a waste of money. The money could be saved to help many people in need. But she didn't say much. Because she knew that Lin Feng was already frugal, considering his worth. She had met such a rich and capable husband. How many talents did Lin Feng have that she didn't know? When the two were together, Lin Feng always bought her so many things without hesitation. So that she didn't have to worry about money. Lin Feng is a truly capable man. Silly wife. What are you thinking about? Is your husband a good husband? Lin Feng touched Zhang Yuxi's head and said. Of course he knew what Zhang Yuxi was thinking at this moment. She must be complaining in her heart that he was spending money indiscriminately again. He knew Zhang Yuxi's character very well. Gentle, sensible, considerate and kind. But there was no way, Lin Feng just had the ability. The ability allowed. It's good. It's just... Zhang Yuxi pouted and said. It's just too expensive. Then she leaned close to Lin Feng's ear and whispered playfully. Lin Feng smiled at her cute behavior. He casually took Zhang Yuxi out of the store. Lin Feng's love for Zhang Yuxi has always been self-evident. He doesn't need too many words. He uses actions to tell her what love is. Wife, you are the person I love most in the world and the most important person in my life. You deserve the best. I will never be stingy with my love for you. As long as it is what you want and like, I will do my best to satisfy you. You don't have to worry about things in life. You don't need to worry about the daily necessities. You just need to be happy and be yourself. Leave everything else to me. Lin Feng said a lot to Zhang Yuxi affectionately. It was indeed what he had always thought in his heart. Of course, he did so and achieved it. But he felt that these were far from enough. In the days to come, he would be with Zhang Yuxi for the rest of his life. He would never forget his original intention and would love her seriously from beginning to end. Let Zhang Yuxi be the happiest woman in the world. He has enough confidence and assurance. At this time, Zhang Yuxi listened carefully to Lin Feng's words. Her heart had long been surging, and no words could express her current mood. Tears instantly rolled down her eyes. These were tears of happiness. Wife, what's wrong? Did I say something wrong? Wife Lin Feng panicked when he saw Zhang Yuxi crying. He quickly took out a tissue to wipe away Zhang Yuxi's tears. Ever since he was with Zhang Yuxi, he vowed to make Zhang Yuxi a happy girl. He would not let her be sentimental and cry anymore. After all, he knew that before she was reborn, Zhang Yuxi's eyes were often filled with sadness, and she had accumulated too many troubles in her heart, and she became depressed, so she chose to end her life and stay away from all the sorrows in this world. The first thing he did after he was reborn was to save Zhang Yuxi. Obviously, because of his appearance, Zhang Yuxi's life trajectory has changed dramatically. What's even more amazing is that the two of them fell in love. Zhang Yuxi also became his fiancée. It was also because of Lin Feng's appearance that Zhang Yuxi became positive and her life was full of sunshine. Her personality also became lively and cheerful. So every time Lin Feng saw Zhang Yuxi crying, he became worried. But since Zhang Yuxi and Lin Feng have been together, she has basically never cried. The occasional tears she shed were tears of happiness because she was moved by Lin Feng. Pachia, huh? Zhang Yuxi laughed at Lin Feng's flustered look. My silly wife is really crying and laughing. Lin Feng was often touched by Zhang Yuxi's cute actions. How could there be such a cute creature as Zhang Yuxi in the world? Chapter 1429, Companionship is the most lasting confession. You're the stupid one. Who told you to make me cry? You said a lot of touching words. Zhang Yuxi pouted and said jokingly. Okay, I'm stupid. My wife is really a little crybaby. They say women are made of water. I think it's true, otherwise why would my wife's tear glands be so developed? She cries like an ocean at every turn, Lin Feng said with a smile on his face. After hearing what Lin Feng said, Zhang Yuxi immediately hit Lin Feng's arm tenderly. It's all your fault, annoying, Zhang Yuxi said coquettishly. It's because Lin Feng's love for her is so beautiful and he never lets her suffer any grievances. Lin Feng has always used a series of actions to love him. So the words just said really touched her. She felt warm in her heart. Of course, she also loves Lin Feng very much in her heart. She has always been very dependent on him. She can't imagine what she would do if Lin Feng left her one day. Go crazy? Or look for him all over the world like crazy? She dared not even think about such a thing. Husband, I love you. Thank you. Zhang Yuxi looked up and said to Lin Feng firmly. Just a few short words were enough to express her inner feelings. She loved Lin Feng very much, more than loving herself. Just like Lin Feng loved her. She thanked Lin Feng, and this thank you contained too much. Before Lin Feng appeared, she didn't know what it felt like to love someone deeply. But now she understands. The next second, Zhang Yuxi hugged Lin Feng tightly, regardless of the people coming and going around them. The two of them only had each other in their eyes. Give you my hug, so that you can feel the temperature of my body. Give you my hug, so that you can feel the speed of my heartbeat. Give you my hug, so that you can feel the degree of my love for you. Lin Feng hugged Zhang Yuxi tightly, feeling the warmth of each other. At this moment, the moment they hugged each other, glowed in the dark, like fireflies that can only be found in the night. Everything continued, everything was fine, and it seemed to be back to the beginning. Thank God for letting me meet you, in this beautiful season, this wonderful encounter. Zhang Yuxi said in a soft and sticky voice. She felt that loving or being loved was not as good as loving each other. The relationship between her and Lin Feng was a two-way journey. At this time, Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi steadily, with the corners of his mouth slightly raised. This silly girl suddenly became serious and a little cute. Lin Feng thought to himself. Me too. Lin Feng deliberately said jokingly. I hope that my life with you in the future will be gentle and interesting, not too intense. 3 meals a day, 4 seasons, not too hurried. After all, I have a lifetime to waste with you. Companionship is the most long-lasting confession. Wife, okay, the future is long. There are still many things to do with you. After Lin Feng said a few words seriously, he took Zhang Yuxi's hand and walked forward. Yeah, there are still many things to do together, things that have never been done before belong to the two of us. Zhang Yuxi followed his words and repeated them again obediently. For example, a lot. The first time. Lin Feng said with a proud smile. What is it? Zhang Yuxi instantly became shy, her face turned red to the root of her neck. After she finished speaking, she gently tapped Lin Feng's back a few times. What are you thinking about, silly wife? I didn't say anything. Why is my wife blushing? Lin Feng asked knowingly and jokingly. How could I? Zhang Yuxi responded mischievously. No. No. Lin Feng said in an increasingly ambiguous tone. Oh, I'm going to buy you clothes. Zhang Yuxi shyly changed the subject immediately. Then she took Lin Feng's hand and walked quickly to the men's clothing store. When they arrived at the clothing store, Zhang Yuxi carefully selected clothes for Lin Feng. This brand of clothes is also one of the brands that Lin Feng often wears. Of course, Zhang Yuxi has privately investigated all the brands of clothes that Lin Feng wears. Whether it is quality, character, temperament, or nobility, all aspects are more in line with Lin Feng. After all, the things she usually chooses for Lin Feng are still quite particular. She doesn't consider things that are too cheap or tasteless. After all, she is very happy to spend money on Lin Feng. Just like Lin Feng tries his best to meet her various needs. Lin Feng thinks she deserves the best. In turn, she is willing to give Lin Feng the best. Husband, come here. Hey. Try these sets. Zhang Yuxi waved her hand and said. This. No need to try. The clothes my wife buys are basically suitable. Lin Feng said reluctantly. But it is true that the clothes Zhang Yuxi picked for him are all suitable. He is still very confident in Zhang Yuxi. No. Go and try it on for me. Since you are here, I can choose for you myself. Zhang Yuxi shook her head and said. Of course, she knew that Lin Feng was too lazy to try, so she said that. Sure enough, men have a natural resistance to shopping, but the strange thing is that when accompanying her shopping or shopping for her, Lin Feng is always very happy and never complains. Maybe this is the power of love. Okay, husband. Hurry up, well let's go. Zhang Yuxi looked at Lin Feng's unmoved look and said coquettishly. When Lin Feng heard Zhang Yuxi's gentle and coquettish look, the resistance in his heart disappeared instantly. Since my wife wants me to try it, I will try it. Immediately, as if he had been injected with chicken blood, he took the clothes and walked to the fitting room. Then Zhang Yuxi followed and waited for Lin Feng to come out outside the fitting room. How is it? Honey, is it suitable? Zhang Yuxi talked to Lin Feng inside from time to time. Because Lin Feng had to try several sets, he stayed for a long time. Why is this idiot taking so long? Let me see. Zhang Yuxi was eager to wait for Lin Feng, and muttered to herself. Then she quickly got up, opened the door and entered the fitting room. Catcha. At this time, Lin Feng was naked from the waist up, only wearing shorts and standing in front of Zhang Yuxi. Ah, ew. Zhang Yuxi covered her mouth and screamed, but fortunately she covered her mouth in time and there was no sound. Lin Feng looked calm and looked at Zhang Yuxi affectionately. At this moment, the ambiguous smell in the fitting room was spreading. Chapter 1430 Washing my wife's hair. Looking at Lin Feng's straight back, he looked like a tall poplar tree, with a huge and tenacious strength. Although she had seen his figure before, and the two of them were frank and affectionate with each other. But now suddenly Zhang Yuxi blushed a little. Husband, have you tried on the clothes? Zhang Yuxi blushed and stammered. Lin Feng looked at the woman who belonged to him in front of him affectionately, his face like a red apple. Wife, can't you hold it back? So anxious. Lin Feng smiled and said jokingly. Ah, this. Eh? Zhang Yuxi was even more shy when Lin Feng said that. Okay, tonight we will. Lin Feng said proudly. Hurry up and try on the clothes. Zhang Yuxi immediately said with a serious face. Then she pinched Lin Feng's face and ran out of the fitting room. Waiting for Lin Feng patiently outside. After a few minutes, Lin Feng walked out of the fitting room, wearing the clothes that Zhang Yuxi had chosen for him. Lin Feng is indeed a walking clothes rack. Clothes add a touch of temperament to him. After all, this figure is thin when dressed, and muscular when undressed. How is it? Is your husband handsome? Lin Feng said with a smile on his face. Handsome. Don't you see whose husband he is? Zhang Yuxi was not to be outdone, and said with a proud face. Yes, yes, yes. The husband of the school beauty. How can I be worthy of the school beauty if I'm not handsome? Lin Feng smiled and said. After all, his fiancée is the dream lover of many boys. She is a famous goddess in school. She has good academic performance and looks beautiful. She is a good student in the eyes of teachers, the object of envy of female classmates, and the object of admiration of male classmates. So he can be with his beloved school beauty, which is simply a life cheat. However, after his rebirth, he started anew, and his life is indeed like a cheat. Zhang Yuxi is also his lucky goddess. No, it should be said that since he started to save Zhang Yuxi, they are destined to be involved with each other. He is also Zhang Yuxi's lucky man. HMPH, you're the only one who knows how to talk. Zhang Yuxi pouted and snorted. What about the other set? Don't like it? It's still not suitable. Zhang Yuxi continued to speak. She found that she had chosen 2 sets for Lin Feng, and after trying them for so long, she only tried 1 set for her to see. Well, that set is not good. Not suitable. Lin Feng shook his head and said. Not suitable. Where is it not suitable? Why don't you wear it and show it to me? Zhang Yuxi said in confusion. Silly wife, which set is not suitable to wear and show you? It's so tight. Lin Feng said helplessly with a face expression. Is it the clothes or the pants that are tight? If it doesn't fit, then choose another set to try. She looked at Lin Feng and said. The crotch is tight, it hurts. Lin Feng said with a smile on his face. Zhang Yuxi. Normally, the size of the pants she chose for Lin Feng is suitable. Could it be that this idiot has gained weight? Or is it that the size of these pants is too small? Husband, have you gained weight? Zhang Yuxi said with a mischievous look. Lin Feng. No. With such a good figure, where's he fat? Have you ever seen anyone with a better figure than your husband? Lin Feng said with an unconvinced look. Besides your figure, how can I have the chance to see others? Zhang Yuxi said proudly. Whose do you want to see? Mine is not good enough for you to see. Lin Feng said with a look of a domineering president. He also pinched Zhang Yuxi's little face. Here. 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 It's big. Then he pointed to the direction of the crotch and said something with confidence. Ha ha ha. Zhang Yuxi was immediately amused and laughed. Hurry up, try this set. Zhang Yuxi handed another set of clothes in her hand to Lin Feng. My wife is waiting. Lin Feng said. After that, Lin Feng walked into the fitting room, and Zhang Yuxi waited quietly outside. After about a few minutes, Lin Feng walked out with a smile on his face. Full marks. My wife has good taste. It fits very well. Lin Feng smiled and said. Well, it's really good looking than these 2 sets. Zhang Yuxi nodded with satisfaction. Then Lin Feng changed his clothes, and Zhang Yuxi took the 2 sets of clothes to the front desk to pay. At this time, the male salesperson in the store cast an envious look. At this moment, he also wished that he had a beautiful girlfriend to carefully select and buy clothes for him. Done. My mission is also completed. Zhang Yuxi happily walked away hand in hand with Lin Feng. The 2 of them ended today's red date perfectly. Lin Feng took Zhang Yuxi to see the lavender ocean that he longed for in his heart, and also took him to a high-end restaurant for dinner and shopping. This is the simple dating process between lovers. When they returned home, they both lay on the sofa exhausted. This seems to be the norm between lovers. When they go out to play and return home, they usually lie down like Ju. A day of walking and stopping consumes energy. Wife, are you tired? Lin Feng asked softly. Zhang Yuxi just responded softly. Then she closed her eyes and rested. At this time, Lin Feng immediately got up from the sofa and walked to the bathroom. After a few minutes, Lin Feng came out again and walked directly to the sofa and rapped Zhang Yuxi. Husband, what are you doing? Zhang Yuxi was frightened by Lin Feng's behavior and immediately became energetic. Stupid, go take a bath. I'm tired all day today, taking a bath will make you feel better. Lin Feng said. He felt sorry for Zhang Yuxi, who was exhausted after a whole day. In addition, Zhang Yuxi rarely exercises, and her physique is still relatively weak. So his condition is okay, but Zhang Yuxi is already exhausted. So it would be more comfortable to give her a bath. Ah, this. Zhang Yuxi muttered softly. Okay. Although they are an old couple, they are still a little shy. Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi, who was blushing in his arms. The corners of his mouth rose slightly. Of course, He knew Zhang Yuxi's little thoughts. What's wrong? My wife is shy. We are already an old married couple, okay, dear, go take a bath first. Lin Feng said with a smile. Zhang Yuxi. But she didn't say anything. How is it? Wife, is the water temperature suitable? Lin Feng said gently. Yes. Zhang Yuxi nodded in response. After Zhang Yuxi finished her bath, Lin Feng planned to wash her hair. He came to the back of Zhang Yuxi's head with shampoo and gently picked up her beautiful long hair. He began to wash her hair. Lin Feng operated skillfully. After all, he did these things a lot after living with Zhang Yuxi. At the beginning, he was also clumsy and hurt her. Later, as the number of times increased, Zhang Yuxi would also praise him for his better skills than the hair salon. It is said that whether a man loves you or not depends on whether he is willing to wash your hair. This sentence is not without reason. Looking at Zhang Yuxi in front of him, enjoying it with her eyes closed, he also felt a sense of accomplishment. Chapter 1431 The Vows Made on the Wedding Day Count. After a while, Lin Feng helped Zhang Yuxi wash her hair. He gently dried her hair with a towel. Honey, you've worked hard, a kiss. Zhang Yuxi said cutely and playfully. She looked very cute and charming with her pouty mouth. Lin Feng was amused by her cute behavior and quickly leaned over to take a bite. But one bite was not enough. He wanted more. Honey, I love you. Zhang Yuxi said while looking at Lin Feng affectionately. Well, honey loves you too. Lin Feng said while looking at Zhang Yuxi with a doting look. The whole air was filled with a sour smell of love. Just like that, the two fell in love. Honey, when we reach the legal age for marriage, we will go and get the marriage certificate immediately. Okay. Lin Feng said. He couldn't wait a moment. He wanted to marry Zhang Yuxi right away and become a legal couple. Okay, Zhang Yuxi replied softly. I swear. I will love you well. For the rest of my life. Never leave me. I've chosen you for this life. You can't run away. No. It's this life. Next life. The next life. No matter when. I will find you. Lin Feng said a lot of things excitedly. Haha. Zhang Yuxi laughed happily after hearing this. Are you swearing now? We haven't had the wedding yet. Only the vows on the wedding day count. Zhang Yuxi continued to speak. All my vows count. No matter when. Besides, after getting the marriage certificate, I will definitely give you a romantic and beautiful wedding. Put on a beautiful wedding dress and be the most beautiful bride. My wife will be so beautiful by then. Hold a grand wedding and let everyone envy you. Lin Feng spoke with full of expectations. At this moment, his mind was full of Zhang Yuxi wearing a wedding dress. He didn't need to think to know how beautiful Zhang Yuxi was. How much he longed for that day to come, to see Zhang Yuxi in a wedding dress slowly walking towards him. Maybe he will be moved to tears on that day. I'll be happy when that day comes. I don't even know how good it is now, Zhang Yuxi said with a pout. In fact, she was very happy to hear Lin Feng say this, because no matter when, in life, Lin Feng always did what he said to her. It is possible that other men said something but did not do it, but Lin Feng is different. As long as Lin Feng said it, he would do it one by one. He never pretended, and never coaxed Zhang Yuxi with sweet words. Even if he said sweet words, he would still fulfill any of his promises. Therefore, Zhang Yuxi never worried about Lin Feng, and was willing to believe him 100%. This was also the peace of mind and solidity that Zhang Yuxi had never had after being with Lin Feng. This was something she had never experienced in her past life. Since the appearance of Lin Feng, she has changed a lot. Even the trajectory of her life has become better. Silly. Wait. I will definitely give you an unforgettable wedding. Do what you say. Lin Feng said with a firm face. He still has this confidence. It's a pity that they haven't reached the legal age for marriage yet, otherwise he would have arranged everything immediately and given Zhang Yuxi a big surprise. Raymond Lam often fantasizes about the scene of the wedding day, and sometimes even appears in his dreams. He will personally participate in the layout of the entire wedding scene. They chose an outdoor wedding just because Zhang Yuxi likes outdoor weddings. Yearning for freedom represents hope. The main theme of the wedding is the deep forest style, with green trees next to it, representing peace and hope. Then the sun shines through the gaps in the trees, shining, representing sunshine and warmth. Then the ground is covered with pieces of lavender, which is Zhang Yuxi's favorite lavender, representing romance and waiting. I hope that day will be a clear sky, preferably with white clouds. Blue sky and white clouds. Deep forest lawns, sunshine, and a dreamy lavender, plus relatives and friends who come to bless. Under the eyes of many people, Raymond Lam and Zhang Yuxi officially became husband and wife on this land. From then on, they will never leave each other, and will never change until death, and support each other. Of course, these are all the weddings that Lin Feng imagined. But he believed that his ideal wedding should be almost the same. Everything is based on what Zhang Yuxi likes. What are you thinking about, husband? So absorbed. Zhang Yuxi interrupted Lin Feng's thoughts. Lin Feng immediately came back to his senses and gently tapped Zhang Yuxi's head. I'm thinking about the scene of our wedding. You interrupted me. Lin Feng complained softly. Oh, it's useless to think about it. I still have to be the main thing when the time comes. It's okay if I like it, right? Zhang Yuxi said mischievously. Stupid, of course I think about what you like first. It's all based on your preferences, you will definitely like it too. Lin Feng said confidently. Tisk tisk tisk, you know me so well, Zhang Yuxi said with a smile. Nonsense. He has a thorough understanding of Zhang Yuxi. He knows her personality and her preferences well enough. So every time he prepares a gift for Zhang Yuxi, it hits the mark. The place he took her to was also the place she longed for. Little guy it must be. Otherwise, how can I please my wife? Lin Feng said proudly. Zhang Yuxi. But it was true, she was still very sure of Lin Feng. After being together, Lin Feng was very considerate and thoughtful in every aspect. After the two talked about a lot of wedding things, their hair was washed. Then Lin Feng blew her hair dry. Husband, you are so good. How can you be so good? Love you, love you, love you. Zhang Yuxi said coquettishly. Because I love you. Lin Feng replied briefly and smiled. Women are like this, suddenly confessing on a whim. Lin Feng has long been accustomed to this situation, but he also truly feels Zhang Yuxi's love for him. Zhang Yuxi's love for him is reflected in her little details, loving very delicately, gently and romantically. So Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi are really a match made in heaven. The love they give to each other is gentle and delicate, but at the same time it is the most soothing. I take a bite, you said you love me. I'm still savoring the tenderness you gave me. I take a bite, this strong temptation. You have all the looks I like. Zhang Yuxi happily hummed Jejo's little song. Your love is too much, I want to take it with me. When I miss you, I take a bite. Raymond Lam continued to sing. Zhang Yuxi looked at Raymond Lam's affectionate look and couldn't help but throw herself into his arms. The two hugged each other affectionately, unwilling to separate for a long time. Chapter 1432 It Will Happen in My Dreams. Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi spent a weekend happily. Time flies, and the weekend ends with the arrival of Monday. Today is the day to go back to school with Zhang Yuxi. Boom. Lin Feng drove Zhang Yuxi out of the underground parking lot of Huijin building early in the morning. In less than a while, Lin Feng drove to the vicinity of the school. At this time, he and Zhang Yuxi got up in a hurry in the morning. They had not eaten breakfast at home. Both of them were hungry. Wife, let's eat something here first. Lin Feng looked at his watch and found that there was still time, so he said to Zhang Yuxi. Zhang Yuxi also turned her head and nodded to Lin Feng. So Lin Feng parked the car on the side of the road and found a breakfast shop at random. Then the two got out of the car together. It was almost time for class, and many students were rushing to school one after another. Lin Feng's Ferrari parked on the side of the road quickly attracted the attention of passers-by. Isn't this car the school beauty's boyfriend's? Oh my god, I haven't seen it for a long time. I saw it here again today. It should be Lin Feng's. Oh, look, the school beauty and Lin Feng are having breakfast inside. The students rushing to the school saw this familiar Ferrari and started discussing it. After a long time, they left one by one. At this time, Zhang Yanmin, Lin Feng's deskmate, was also attracted by the students' discussion. He looked in the direction the students pointed. Oh my god, since Brother Feng moved out of the school, I rarely see his fancy car. He even brought his wife to have breakfast. This dog food. Zhang Yanmin muttered to himself, with a sour look on his face. Then he walked towards Lin Feng's direction. At this time, Lin Feng, who was in the breakfast room, had no idea what was happening outside. He was enjoying his breakfast and was very hungry. Just after he had eaten and drunk enough, he saw Zhang Yuxi still eating, so he sat next to him and waited patiently. Brother Feng, have breakfast without me. Zhang Yanmin suddenly spoke. Lin Feng was still confused. and a familiar voice came to his ears. He knew it was Zhang Anmin, the funny guy. Take you? As a light bulb? How many watts? Why are you joining me in when I'm having breakfast with my wife? Lin Feng said jokingly. Zhang Anmin. Well, I shouldn't ask you, you're a guy who values women over friends. I'm full of dog food. Zhang Anmin said with a sour face, as if he had eaten several lemons in one breath, and his teeth were sour. Lin Feng rolled his eyes at his funny look. Zhang Yuxi was also full at this time. Lin Feng glanced at the time and saw that it was almost time for class, so he quickly paid the bill and walked out of the breakfast shop holding Zhang Yuxi's hand. The two got on the car, and Lin Feng planned to drive the car to the parking lot near the school. At this time, the funny Zhang Anmin also followed and glanced at Lin Feng. Forget it. He walked towards the school very tactfully. He didn't want to be with these two people and eat all the dog food, which was completely self-torture. After Lin Feng found a parking spot and parked the car, he quickly took Zhang Yuxi to the classroom. Both of them ran to their respective classrooms. Fortunately, the classrooms where they had classes today were very close. Lin Feng first accompanied Zhang Yuxi to the classroom where she was going to have class, and then ran back to his own classroom. As soon as he stepped into the classroom door, the bell for class rang. Haha, he entered the classroom on time again, which was really punctual. Lin Feng smiled and thought to himself. Time flies so fast. The morning time passed quietly in the teacher's lecture. The last class time is about to come, and it's noon before you know it. Lin Feng quickly took out his mobile phone and sent a message to Zhang Yuxi, asking her to wait for him in the classroom and go to have lunch later. After sending the message, Lin Feng was waiting for the last few minutes of get out of class to end. At this time, the classmates in the class were also getting ready. They were all cleaning up their desks and preparing to leave. Ding-ling-ling. The bell for the end of get out of class rang. Classmates, let's go. The bell for the end of get out of class was accompanied by the teacher's voice. Brother Feng. Let's go. Let's go eat together. Zhang Anmin, my deskmate, immediately said. You go first, I still have to look for Yuxi, and eat with her later. Lin Feng said lightly. Zhang Anmin. Oh, how could he forget this? After all, Brother Feng is a married man, how can he have lunch with me? Tisk, I really don't know how to respect you. Forgot Brother Feng and the school beauty. That's good, I'm full before lunch. Zhang Anmin said with a self-deprecating smile. Lin Feng ignored the funny deskmate and got up and walked out of the classroom. It seems that I will have to eat dog food every day in the future. Zhang Anmin complained as he ran away. Lin Feng looked at this funny guy helplessly and shook his head. So, Lin Feng walked towards Zhang Yuxi's classroom. The school beauty's fiancé is here. Yuxi, your boyfriend. Lin Feng, Yuxi is waiting for you in the classroom. At this time, the classmates all spoke actively and excitedly. Well, I'm so envious. When will I have a boyfriend? Go to get out of class together, go to dinner together, a female classmate complained with her companions. Wake up, it will happen in dreams. A classmate next to the female classmate joked. Ho ha ho ha. Then several people laughed at the same time. Lin Feng followed the direction pointed by the classmate and walked over. He saw Zhang Yuxi cleaning the table. At this time, all the classmates in the class had dispersed. Wife Lin Feng called gently. Zhang Yuxi turned around and saw Lin Feng's face was instantly full of smiles. She quickly picked up her bag and ran to the door of the classroom. Hey wife, you didn't take the water cup. Lin Feng reminded. Zhang Yuxi's water cup was still on the table. This silly girl was so excited to see him that she forgot something. Oh, I forgot. Zhang Yuxi said in a low voice. Then she turned around and ran to get the water cup. Slow down, don't worry, Lin Feng said. After Zhang Yuxi got the water cup, Lin Feng took her hand and went downstairs. Honey, what do you want to eat for lunch today? If you don't want to eat in the cafeteria, let's go out to eat. There are several restaurants near the school that taste good. Lin Feng said as he walked to get the car. Well, let's go out to eat, and then go home to take a nap after eating. Zhang Yuxi thought for a while and said. After all, they didn't have classes until 3 in the afternoon, so they went out to eat and rested before coming back. The time arrangement of college courses is still very different from that of high school courses. Since they moved out, they always go home to rest at noon, and their home is not far from the school, so it is very convenient to go back and forth. Okay. Then I'll take you to a restaurant nearby that tastes good. Lin Feng said. Afterwards, Lin Feng took Zhang Yuxi to a restaurant near the school for dinner, and the two of them went home for lunch after dinner. Chapter 1433, You Don't Want to Take a Shower? After lunch break, the afternoon class came. Because Lin Feng's afternoon class ended at 5 o'clock, while Zhang Yuxi's class lasted half an hour longer and ended at 5:30. Lin Feng came to the downstairs of Zhang Yuxi's classroom and waited for Zhang Yuxi to finish class. Then he took out his mobile phone from his pocket and planned to send a message to tell Zhang Yuxi that he was waiting for her downstairs and asked her to come down directly after class. At this time, Zhang Yuxi was listening to the professor's class seriously and had no time to pay attention to her mobile phone. After all, Zhang Yuxi has always been very serious in studying and rarely plays with her mobile phone in class. This silly girl must not have looked at her mobile phone. Don't even reply to me, Lin Feng muttered to himself. While waiting, Lin Feng was bored and studied recipes with his mobile phone. His cooking skills can be said to be very good. Lin Feng planned to cook for Zhang Yuxi tonight. It has been a while since he cooked for her. Hey, Brother Feng. Haven't you gone home yet? Waiting for your sister-in-law, Zhang Anman shouted loudly out of nowhere. Even Lin Feng was startled. This funny guy is really a big shot. It's amazing that he can be found anywhere. He is really haunting. Before Lin Feng could speak, Zhang Anman came to sit beside him in a flash. Not yet, waiting for Yuxi, Lin Feng said lightly. Brother Feng. Looking at the menu. My brother Feng is really a good man, Zhang Anman said after taking a look at Lin Feng's mobile phone. This funny guy must be the director of women's gossip. Lin Feng shook his head, glanced at his deskmate Zhang, and stopped talking. Since Brother Feng got together with his school beauty, he seems to have become a different person. Tisk tisk, it's really the power of love. Zhang Anman continued to talk to himself. There's nothing I can do. Your Brother Feng is so powerful. So you are the bachelor. Lin Feng couldn't help but smile and said teasingly. Oh, comparing yourself to others makes you angry. Brother Feng is my goal now. Find a beautiful girlfriend, Zhang Anman said as if he had been injected with chicken blood. Oh, maybe in the next life. You still want a beautiful girlfriend when you look like this. Do you have money? What does that woman want from you? Because you don't take a shower? Or because your feet smell? Lin Feng said something sharp. Zhang Anman was speechless. It seemed that his dream of having a beautiful girlfriend was shattered. A few words pulled the funny guy back to reality from his fantasy. Ding dong ding dong. The bell rang. Lin Feng looked at his watch. It was 5:30. It was time for Zhang Yuxi to finish class. He immediately stood up from the flower bed and went to the stairs to wait for Zhang Yuxi. He was still thinking about whether Zhang Yuxi had checked her phone and read the message he sent her. At this time, he only had his fiancée in his mind and was too lazy to care about Zhang Anman. Brother Feng. I'm leaving, Zhang Anman called out loudly. There was no point in him staying any longer at this point, as he would only be fed with dog food. He would not need to eat breakfast by then. 3 meals a day, just skipped. When Lin Feng heard Zhang Anman's call, he simply waved his hand and said nothing more. At this time, the whole building was filled with noisy sounds, and it was all the sounds of the classmates. The students on the stairs came down one after another, and Lin Feng had not seen Zhang Yuxi yet. Waiting for Yuxi. She hasn't come down yet. At this time, a classmate of Zhang Yuxi saw Lin Feng and said, Well, thank you. Lin Feng just responded politely. He was still waiting anxiously, but still did not see Zhang Yuxi. Why is this silly girl taking so long? Lin Feng muttered to himself. So he picked up his phone and called Zhang Yuxi. Sorry, the number you dialed is turned off. This. Lin Feng was confused. Turned off. How could he contact Zhang Yuxi? He thought that if he waited downstairs, maybe Zhang Yuxi would see him when she came down. If he went upstairs to the classroom to find her, what if Zhang Yuxi couldn't find him when she came down? So he chose to wait for her at the stairs. 10 minutes passed and Zhang Yuxi still didn't come. Lin Feng couldn't help but worry. Could something have happened? No. What could happen in school? Lin Feng comforted himself in his heart. At this time, the teaching building had become quiet, and the students left one after another after class. Logically speaking, Zhang Yuxi should be able to think of him waiting for her downstairs, because he has always waited for her after class. What happened today? Lin Feng couldn't help but think more. Or run up to the classroom to see. or this silly girl is waiting for him in the classroom. Lin Feng ran up the stairs and ran to the classroom, because after being together, he knew Zhang Yuxi's courses very well, so he naturally knew which classroom she was in. So Lin Feng ran directly to Zhang Yuxi's classroom. When he came to the door of the classroom, he found that there was no one in the classroom. Lin Feng looked around and didn't see Zhang Yuxi. He saw a classmate preparing to lock the door of the classroom. Huh? Are you here to look for Yuxi? She's already gone downstairs. She left after class. Before Lin Feng could answer, the classmate spoke up as soon as he saw Lin Feng. She went downstairs? Then why didn't he run into Zhang Yuxi? Okay, thank you, Lin Feng said. Then he turned around and ran downstairs. This silly girl, Lin Feng muttered worriedly. At this time, Zhang Yuxi was waiting for Lin Feng under the banyan tree outside the teaching building. After class, she cleaned up her desk and wanted to go downstairs. At this time, the professor of the course just walked out of the classroom with her. So she thought about what she still had doubts about today's class. So she asked the professor casually. At this time, another female classmate also came to study. The professor discussed with them along the way. Zhang Yuxi and the others went downstairs with the professor from another staircase because there were more people at the staircase where Lin Feng usually waited. That's why Lin Feng didn't wait for Zhang Yuxi from the staircase. The professor left after discussing with them for 10 minutes. Zhang Yuxi also answered her doubts about the course. At this time, the female classmate also said goodbye to her and went back to the dormitory. Zhang Yuxi suddenly thought of Lin Feng at this time, because she knew that Lin Feng would definitely wait for her downstairs in the teaching building. She ran over immediately and found that Lin Feng was no longer downstairs. In fact, Lin Feng just ran up to the classroom to find her at this time. Then she picked up her mobile phone and wanted to call Lin Feng. As luck would have it, she found that her mobile phone was out of battery and turned off. Zhang Yuxi felt uneasy. At this time, the teaching building was quiet and there were no students passing by, otherwise she could borrow a mobile phone to call Lin Feng. Chapter 1434 Silly Wife. So, she went to wait under the banyan tree outside the teaching building. Because this position can be seen from anywhere, if Lin Feng can't find her, he can see her at a glance when he comes out. This position is the most conspicuous. After a few minutes, Lin Feng still didn't come. At this time felt so long. Zhang Yuxi happened to see a female classmate not far away, and she immediately ran over to borrow a mobile phone to make a call. Excuse me, can I borrow a mobile phone to make a call? My mobile phone is out of battery. Zhang Yuxi asked politely and showed her mobile phone to the other party. The female classmate was stunned for a moment, and when she found out that it was the school beauty, she immediately came back to her senses. Sure, the female classmate said with a smile on her face. Wow, you are really beautiful. Your skin is so good. So white. The female classmate said with an amazed look. She was obviously amazed by the beauty of Zhang Yuxi in front of her, although she was not unfamiliar with Zhang Yuxi, a figure at the level of a school beauty goddess, who among the classmates in the school didn't know? But it was the first time to see Zhang Yuxi in person so close. She was 1,000 times more beautiful than the legend. Long, smooth black hair, piercing eyes, long and curled eyelashes, cherry-like mouth, and pink and tender apple cheeks. What a great skin. Tall, thin, fair and tender. So enviable. The female classmate couldn't take her eyes off Zhang Yuxi, and was completely attracted by her beauty. She looked at herself again. Oh, she couldn't bear to look at her. She was a girl who would drool at the sight of her, let alone boys. No wonder she was the dream lover of all the male students in the school. Classmate Zhang Yuxi called softly when she saw her distracted. Sorry. Goddess, you are so beautiful. The female classmate smiled awkwardly and said. After that, she handed the phone to Zhang Yuxi. Thank you, Zhang Yuxi said with a smile. This school beauty even speaks so gently, unlike her who is usually loud-mouthed. The female classmate thought to herself. At this time, Lin Feng ran out of the teaching building. As soon as he came out, he saw Zhang Yuxi not far away. He breathed a sigh of relief instantly. This silly girl ran here, Lin Feng murmured to himself. So he ran over immediately. Wife? Lin Feng shouted loudly. At this time, Zhang Yuxi was just dialing Lin Feng's mobile phone number. Before she dialed the full number, Lin Feng appeared. Zhang Yuxi turned around immediately when she heard the familiar voice. I was just about to call you. I was afraid you couldn't find me. Zhang Yuxi said with a pout. Silly, I was worried to death. Lin Feng said nervously. My phone ran out of battery and turned off. That's why. Zhang Yuxi said a little aggrieved. Oh, by the way. Thank you. Classmate. I don't need to call anymore. Give you the phone back. Thank you very much. Zhang Yuxi smiled slightly and said gently. Then she returned the phone to the female classmate. You're welcome. I'm lucky to meet the goddess face to face today. Bye, the female classmate said excitedly, and then waved goodbye to Zhang Yuxi. Well, bye. Zhang Yuxi smiled happily and responded. After the female classmate left, Lin Feng immediately hugged Zhang Yuxi. The hug became tighter and tighter. Hubby, I'm almost out of breath, Zhang Yuxi said coquettishly. Every time before going out, I have to check if my phone has power. Don't run around, wait for me downstairs after class. Did you hear me? Lin Feng said in a domineering manner. Yes. Zhang Yuxi nodded obediently immediately. But, hubby, can you let me go first? Zhang Yuxi said with difficulty. Because she was hugged too tightly by Lin Feng. Lin Feng slowly let go of his hand at this time and looked at Zhang Yuxi in front of him. Holding her little face with both hands, Zhang Yuxi's face was squeezed together at this time, and her little mouth was pouting. Zhang Yuxi murmured. Lin Feng didn't give her a chance to speak, and immediately kissed her. My silly wife. Then he let go of his hand and said gently. I was wrong, I won't do that next time, Zhang Yuxi said cutely, blinking her eyes and acting cute. Lin Feng was amused by Zhang Yuxi's cute behavior again. He always couldn't do anything with her. Who made him love her so much? Let's go buy vegetables. I'll make delicious food for you tonight. Lin Feng said dotingly. Yeah, hubby, I love you, Zhang Yuxi said mischievously. She threw herself into Lin Feng's arms, with a happy smile on her face. How much do you love me, silly girl? Lin Feng smiled and said. Of course he knew how much Zhang Yuxi loved him, he just asked deliberately to see how Zhang Yuxi would answer. There's no way to measure it. In short, I love you very much, very much, very much. Love you all. Zhang Yuxi answered directly without thinking. Lin Feng was amused again when he saw Zhang Yuxi, who looked serious in his arms. Ha ha ha. How can my wife be so cute? Lin Feng pinched Zhang Yuxi's little face and said. Hey, Zhang Yuxi called out coquettishly. At this time, Lin Feng half squatted down and waved his hand to signal Zhang Yuxi to jump up. I'll carry you, Lin Feng said gently. Zhang Yuxi's heart was instantly warmed. The man in front of her was so good. Lin Feng had never blamed her. No matter if she made a mistake accidentally, Lin Feng would be very tolerant of her. His patience with her was extraordinary. So she had always been very grateful to Lin Feng for appearing in her life. She was also very lucky to meet Lin Feng. Hey, Zhang Yuxi happily jumped on Lin Feng's back, shaking her legs happily. La 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 la. He. Zhang Yuxi hummed a little song on Lin Feng's back in excitement. Hold on, my wife. Let's go. Lin Feng said. Then he carried Zhang Yuxi on his back to the parking lot near the school, picked up the car and rushed to the vegetable market to buy vegetables. In less than a while, the two arrived at the vegetable market. The vegetable market at around 6 o'clock was crowded and noisy. When you come here, you can feel the strong atmosphere of fireworks. But most of the people in the vegetable market are older people, about the same age as their parents, married and starting a family, or some elderly people. Young people like Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi are really rare. Generally, young people will choose to go to large supermarkets and process semi-finished products. It's convenient. But Lin Feng chose to buy in the vegetable market because the vegetables here are fresh and diverse, and you can buy good goods. It's mainly for Zhang Yuxi to eat, so it must be the freshest and best. Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi, this eye-catching couple, immediately attracted the attention of the crowd in the vegetable market. They all looked at Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi at the same time. Lin Feng brought Zhang Yuxi to the meat stall. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 1435, The craftsmanship is really excellent. Handsome guy, would you like some? The owner of the meat stall asked cheerfully. Yes, £2. Lin Feng said without thinking. At this time, the owner's wife of the meat stall appeared and looked at the young couple in front of her. Okay, handsome guy. You can cook. Not bad. The owner's wife praised with a smile. Haha, it's okay. Lin Feng smiled and responded. Zhang Yuxi also laughed happily after hearing what the owner's wife said. Lin Feng is not only good at cooking, but every dish he makes is very delicious. Zhang Yuxi sometimes thinks it's a pity not to open a restaurant. After all, Lin Feng's cooking skills can reach the level of a 5-star restaurant, and sometimes even taste better than the restaurants outside. Oh, such a beautiful girlfriend. Not many young people can cook nowadays. The boss also responded. This handsome guy is still okay. To capture a beautiful woman's heart, you must first capture her stomach. Ha ha ha. The owner's wife laughed more and more excitedly. Mihao, your boyfriend is excellent. Then he spoke to Zhang Yuxi. Haha, thank you. He is indeed excellent. Zhang Yuxi also gave Lin Feng enough face and praised him without hesitation. However, Lin Feng is indeed excellent. No matter which aspect, he basically does very well. She never doubted this. So when the boss lady praised Lin Feng, she also admitted it generously. Look at the young man and girl. It's great to be young. I have spent half my life with a child's father. How can I be like you? Sweet and sweet. In our era, the child's father didn't understand. Not to mention cooking for me, doing it myself, and having enough food and clothing. Oh, let alone romance. Little girl, you are so happy. The boss lady sighed and complained. Suddenly she told her old stories. However, her hero is indeed more difficult, but love was also pure. There was nothing, and it seemed that there was everything. Zhang Yuxi was also quite touched by the boss lady's words, and understood the boss lady very much. Now she is indeed very happy. There is a Lin Feng who loves and pampers her so much. She never has to worry about anything. Lin Feng will help her to settle it. Lin Feng is handsome, rich, talented, capable, and has a heart that loves her. How can she not be happy? In the eyes of others, she is a complete winner in life. She is indeed. Thank you. I hope you can live happily in ordinary days, Zhang Yuxi said gently with a smile on her face. Blessings to you, handsome guy and beautiful girl. Handsome guy, treat beautiful girl well. The proprietress handed the meat to Lin Feng and said. Her eyes were full of envy, envious of the couple. Yes, thank you. Lin Feng took the meat and said. Then he paid and left. The proprietress looked at the backs of the two people leaving. Her eyes did not leave for a long time. Waiting for her was endless money, rice, oil, salt. Husband, buy some vegetables. Zhang Yuxi said to Lin Feng. Yes. Lin Feng responded. Girls have a special feeling for green vegetables, and boys just can't live without meat. Afterwards, Zhang Yuxi came to the vegetable stall to choose vegetables. Lin Feng just waited silently beside her, because he couldn't help at all. Zhang Yuxi was more careful than Lin Feng in buying vegetables, and she carefully selected them. So Lin Feng just had to quietly carry things behind her. The girl is so pretty. She knows how to live. The aunt at the vegetable stall said with a smile on her face. Yes, yes, this girl is so beautiful. The aunt at the next stall also said after hearing it. Zhang Yuxi's beauty attracted the attention of many people coming and going. Haha, thank you, thank you. Zhang Yuxi said softly with some shyness. Is this your boyfriend, young man? He's quite handsome, and we are a good match. The aunt glanced at Lin Feng next to her and said. Young man, you are so lucky. Your girlfriend is so beautiful. And so virtuous. The aunt said teasingly. Haha, this is my fiancée. She is really excellent. I am also very lucky. Lin Feng smiled and said. Oh, are you engaged? Sure, sure. Congratulations to you two in advance. Auntie said excitedly. Thank you, Auntie. Lin Feng responded politely. Afterwards, Zhang Yuxi picked out the vegetables, Lin Feng paid, and left. Then he took Zhang Yuxi to get the car. Zhang Yuxi thought she was going home directly, but she found that the route home was different. She couldn't help but feel confused. Honey, where are we going? Zhang Yuxi asked. To the seafood market. Buy some seafood you like. Lin Feng replied. Because Zhang Yuxi likes to eat seafood, Lin Feng specially came around to buy some seafood. There were some seafood in the vegetable market just now, but it was far less fresh than the seafood market, and there were more varieties, so he bought a few more. It just so happened that the vegetable market was not far from the seafood market, only 7 or 8 minutes away, so he took a detour after buying the vegetables. Honey, you remember everything I like to eat? Zhang Yuxi said. Of course, all my wife's preferences must be clear. Lin Feng said seriously. Zhang Yuxi was moved when she heard Lin Feng's words. After a while, after buying seafood, Lin Feng drove Zhang Yuxi home. Wife, are you hungry? Wait a minute, I'll cook right away. Lin Feng asked with concern. Not really hungry, honey, I'll help you, Zhang Yuxi said obediently. Wife, just wait obediently. No need for your help. Lin Feng said dotingly. I don't, then I'll cook, is that okay? Zhang Yuxi said coquettishly. Okay, you can cook. Lin Feng said. As long as he agreed to Zhang Yuxi's request, because even if he didn't agree, she would take the initiative to help, so he just let her cook. Then Zhang Yuxi, who had cooked, came to the living room and waited. Lin Feng's busy figure in the kitchen filled the house with the smell of fireworks. This is life. Honey, is there anything I can help with? Zhang Yuxi shouted from time to time in the living room. No, my wife will wait. Lin Feng responded in the kitchen. Just like that, after an hour, the dishes were ready. Zhang Yuxi saw the table full of various dishes. They were delicious and fragrant. She felt extremely hungry. She had to admire Lin Feng's excellent cooking skills. Chapter 1436 Let's go barbecue. Honey, it's great. It looks so appetizing. Zhang Yuxi praised excitedly. My wife has been waiting for a long time. Let's eat. Lin Feng smiled and said. Zhang Yuxi couldn't wait to eat. How is it? Honey's cooking skills haven't diminished, have they? Lin Feng raised his eyebrows and said mischievously. Delicious. Honey, you were a chef in your previous life. Zhang Yuxi said with a satisfied look on her face. Previous life? Haha. He didn't know what his previous life was. Anyway, he really didn't have any ability before his rebirth. By chance, he was reborn. Now he has a lot of skills, money and talent. He is also with a school beauty he has always admired, and they are engaged. He changed Zhang Yuxi's fate, and also changed his own. If it's delicious, eat more. Lin Feng said dotingly. Hey, if you keep going like this, I'm going to be fattened by you. Will you dislike me if I get fat? Zhang Yuxi said with her mouth open. Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi lovingly, with a slight smile on his face. What are you thinking about, silly wife? How could I dislike you? No matter what you become, I won't dislike you. Lin Feng said seriously. Indeed. Zhang Yuxi's weight in his heart is immeasurable. He can't even love her enough, so how could he dislike her? Lin Feng is still very confident about this. Tisk tisk tisk, men's mouths are deceiving. You're saying it now because I haven't gained weight now. Zhang Yuxi said with a look of disbelief. If I really get fat and ugly one day, I will abandon me immediately. Then she continued. You fool. How can you think about your husband like this? Don't you know how much your husband loves you? I swear to God, I will love you no matter what you become. Lin Feng pinched Zhang Yuxi's little lazy egg and said. He knew that it was normal for Zhang Yuxi to have this concern, and maybe every girl in love would have this idea. Zhang Yuxi is indeed beautiful beyond words. Many people would be attracted by her appearance. But since he chose Zhang Yuxi, no matter how she becomes, he will love her as always. Okay, I'll believe you for now. Zhang Yuxi said proudly. Hey, my wife is just too naughty. Lin Feng shook his head and said. Anyway, I won't dislike you. I will always love you. Zhang Yuxi blurted out these words immediately. Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi affectionately, and he was suddenly moved, because he knew that Zhang Yuxi was thinking this way. Wife Lin Feng called gently. Hey, don't be moved. Just listen, Zhang Yuxi said deliberately jokingly. Lin Feng was instantly amused. You are really too naughty. Huh? My wife is so cute. Lin Feng said with a smile on his face. The two spent dinner together in laughter. After eating, Zhang Yuxi helped to clean up the dishes. Although Lin Feng didn't need her help, she still insisted on helping. Lin Feng couldn't persuade her and had to follow her. Zhang Yuxi felt that the best relationship was mutual dedication. She knew that Lin Feng had worked hard to make breakfast for her. So after dinner, she should help clean up. This is the best love. Both sides are giving and love is mutual. After the two had dinner, Lin Feng was dealing with some affairs in the company. Zhang Yuxi was studying courses on financial management. Because she wanted more advanced studies, she had to spend more time exploring on her own. After all, She didn't want to be a vase in the eyes of others. Indeed, Zhang Yuxi is also a very capable girl. It's just that she hasn't had the opportunity to show herself yet. Although her grades in school have always been among the best. All courses are excellent. But there is no opportunity to implement them in real life. She believes that in the near future, she will create her own achievements through her own efforts. Seeing Zhang Yuxi studying so hard, Lin Feng didn't go in to disturb her. Time passed by minute, and it was already past 11 o'clock in the middle of the night. Seeing that Zhang Yuxi was still unmoved, Lin Feng walked into the room carefully. He slowly hugged Zhang Yuxi from behind. "Wife, is it time to take a shower?" Lin Feng said gently. "Well, what time is it?" Zhang Yuxi asked. "It's almost 12 o'clock. Wife, take a shower and go to bed." Lin Feng replied. Zhang Yuxi immediately stretched lazily, turned around, hugged Lin Feng and kissed him. "Well, not enough." Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi affectionately and said coquettishly. "Okay. I'm going to take a shower." Zhang Yuxi smiled and said. "Well, not enough. More." Lin Feng hugged her tightly and didn't let her go. "Hubby." Zhang Yuxi immediately hit Lin Feng lightly a few times. "Are you naughty again?" Zhang Yuxi pinched Lin Feng's face and said. My wife is starting to be mean to me." Lin Feng pretended to be aggrieved and said. "My wife doesn't love me anymore." Lin Feng continued to complain. "Ha ha ha. Silly husband. I won't make trouble with you anymore." Zhang Yuxi finished speaking and ran to take a shower. Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi and laughed happily. "I want to join too," he shouted loudly on purpose. The two often quarreled like this on purpose, and Lin Feng also teased Zhang Yuxi on purpose. This is the love between young lovers. Just like this, after taking a shower, the two fell asleep together. The day ended just like this. School life is like this day after day, boring and fun. Another week of plain and sweet life for the two has passed. The weekend is here again. Just when Lin Feng was thinking about where to take Zhang Yuxi to play today, suddenly, he remembered that he hadn't had dinner with his college roommates for a long time. How about going to a picnic and barbecue together today? So Lin Feng took out his mobile phone and called Chen Kun. Beep, beep. After a few beeps, the other party answered the phone. "Hey, boss. Why did you think of calling me?" Chen Kun knew it was Lin Feng calling as soon as he saw the phone, and he spoke immediately after answering the phone. "How is the club going recently?" Lin Feng asked first. "Boss, don't worry. Business is good," Chen Kun said excitedly. Indeed. Lin Feng basically doesn't have to worry about the club's affairs. His brothers have been trained by him to be able to take charge of their own affairs. Only in some major matters will Lin Feng participate and be the decision maker. Let them solve the remaining trivial matters by themselves. "Well, where are the two of them?" Lin Feng asked lightly. "Boss, they're all here. My girlfriends are here too. Today is the weekend and everyone is together," Chen Kun replied. "Let's call everyone to come together at noon today. We'll go buy some things and then have a picnic and barbecue. It's been a long time since we got together," Lin Feng said. "Okay, boss. We'll be there soon," Chen Kun said immediately. Chapter 1437 Couple Party. After hanging up the phone, Lin Feng was about to go into the room to tell Zhang Yuxi. At this time, Zhang Yuxi had already come behind him. Because she heard the conversation between Lin Feng and Chen Kun, she came out. "I was just looking for you." Lin Feng saw Zhang Yuxi's serious expression and immediately smiled. "Huh? Going to a picnic? I heard everything." Zhang Yuxi smiled and said. "Yes, with Chen Kun and the others. It's been a long time since we got together," Lin Feng said. "Huh? Then I'll tell Xiaoyu and the others," Zhang Yuxi said excitedly. "Silly wife. Today is the weekend, and your besties are with Chen Kun and the others. I want to spend the weekend with my boyfriend too, okay? They are all in the club, they will come together later. Then go buy some things," Lin Feng said immediately. Yes. Zhang Yuxi nodded frantically after listening. She looked happy. "Wife, are you happy?" Lin Feng said dotingly. Happy. Zhang Yuxi said with a smile on her face. After she finished speaking, she immediately jumped onto Lin Feng, who hugged her, and the two of them spun around in circles. "Yes, the magic of love is spinning in circles," Zhang Yuxi sang happily. Of course she was happy. going out with a bunch of good friends, having a picnic and barbecue. It was so wonderful. Weekends are a time to relax. A week of classes has overwhelmed her. It's just right to be with her beloved and a bunch of good friends to eat, drink and have fun. Why not? Plus today's weather is so bright. The sun is bright and the breeze is not dry. Everything is just right. Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi in his arms, happy like a child, and his heart became happy too. He just simply hoped that Zhang Yuxi could be happy forever. Always carefree like a child. She just needs to enjoy life with peace of mind. Because as long as Zhang Yuxi is happy, he will be happy. That's enough. Boss. We're here. At this time, a group of people were laughing and making noise outside the door. Without thinking, I knew that several friends had arrived. Zhang Yuxi immediately ran over excitedly to open the door. At this time, the lawn of the villa was full of familiar faces. Oh my, you're finally here. Zhang Yuxi said with a smile on her face. Hello, sister-in-law. Chen Kun and others hurriedly greeted. Zhang Yuxi's college roommates and girlfriends also shouted excitedly. At this time, Lin Feng also came out. Boss. Lin Feng's college roommates and brothers shouted loudly. Let's go to the supermarket to buy things first. Wife, are you girls at home? I'll go with them. Lin Feng turned his head and looked at Zhang Yuxi and said. Let's go together. I'm not sure if you guys are buying things. Let us pick things. Zhang Yuxi said jokingly. Okay, then let's go together. Lin Feng had to follow Zhang Yuxi's words. He had originally thought that Zhang Yuxi could just wait at home and not run around. Since this silly girl insisted on going, he would just let her do it. So, a group of people set out to the supermarket to shop. The couple party is about to begin. A group of young men and women came to the supermarket in groups to shop. Hey, let's have fun at the old house until the evening. Drink, drink. The third brother Sui said excitedly. Yes, buy some wine. I won't go home until I'm drunk tonight. The fourth brother Chen Dongyan also followed up. Don't pretend. Just you guys, the boss will drink you down in a minute. The louder the slogans are now, the more miserable it will be when the time comes. The second brother Chen Kun immediately said jokingly. Ha 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 ha. Then there was a group of men and women laughing. Everyone laughed out loud watching the fun. Even Suhi's girlfriend Li Yi automatically joined the team. Come on. Don't show off. Li Yi warned. I might have to carry you back later. Li Yi continued to say jokingly. Ha 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 ha. Everyone laughed again. Even the people coming and going in the supermarket were attracted by this group of young boys and girls. After all, they were so happy and laughing all the way. Lin Feng's brothers quarreled with each other, and none of them was willing to be outdone. Lin Feng just watched them play with a calm face. He had long been accustomed to the way these brothers get along with each other. No matter how much they quarreled, they couldn't break up. In addition, their girlfriends and Zhang Yuxi were roommates and besties, so they were close and could talk about anything. Naturally, this group of people would be more lively than usual, and they would be more relaxed. After all, they were the most familiar people to each other. In fact, people passing by were very envious of their relationship. 3 or 5 good friends, going to get out of class together at school. They can still play together after leaving school, and have dinner and date on weekends. This is the life that many people dream of. A group of like-minded friends, laughing and talking, adds some fun to the dull life. Okay, you don't need to buy wine. There are plenty of wines at home. Enough. Zhang Yuxi said with a smile. After all, Lin Feng has collected a large number of wines from all over the world, and the entire wine cabinet is full of wine. So the last thing in the house is wine. How could you forget about this? The boss has all kinds of wines at home. It's time for you two to show off. Don't be scared when the time comes. Chen Kun said with a look of watching the fun. No, you still have to be scared in front of the boss. Chen Dongyan responded immediately. Don't forget, your current drinking capacity is also trained by me. At this time, Lin Feng slowly said something. Indeed. From the beginning, their drinking capacity was terrible. It was Lin Feng who took them to drink all the way. Lin Feng's drinking capacity is recognized as awesome. So the roommates and brothers slowly became a little bit better at drinking. At least they can drink. In the midst of a quarrel, Zhang Yuxi had already led a few roommates and girlfriends to quickly choose food. These men. Unreliable. Chen Kun's girlfriend Su Anna shook her head and said. Hey. Zhang Yuxi and her besties laughed while listening to them complaining about their boyfriends. However, Zhang Yuxi didn't say a bad thing about Raymond Lam, because Raymond Lam was so good, he was simply the perfect ideal boyfriend. So she didn't have any reason to complain about Raymond Lam. She just silently ate the gossips of her roommates and besties. Chapter 1438. I just realized he is a straight man. If you ask me, Yuxi is the happiest. Lin Feng is so good. Yuxi is a combination of thousands of pets. Chen Dongyun's girlfriend Xiaoyu said. Several girlfriends also nodded in agreement. Zhang Yuxi didn't know what to say, but smiled, which was equivalent to tacit agreement. Wife, let's go buy meat. You choose first. At this time, Lin Feng had come behind Zhang Yuxi and said gently. Yes. Zhang Yuxi also responded obediently. At this moment, the brothers had disappeared, completely forgetting their girlfriends behind them, and they were having fun together. Tisk tisk tisk, look at Lin Feng, he still knows to come and tell Yuxi. Those guys in our family have completely forgotten that they have girlfriends. Li Yi said helplessly. Ha 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 ha. Several girls laughed at the same time. Then, the boys and girls divided the work. The girls jumped some scattered things, and the boys were responsible for buying meat. After going back and forth in the supermarket, they finally bought everything in about an hour. When they arrived at the front desk, Lin Feng paid for everything. Then the boys were responsible for carrying the shopping bags. Of course, the girls were responsible for being beautiful. After shopping, they rushed back to Lin Feng's house for barbecue. Back home, everyone helped to prepare the food. The girls were washing vegetables, and the boys were responsible for cleaning the skewers. They were all happy. At this time, Zhang Yuxi returned to the room to look for some decorations to decorate the lawn. Because she remembered that she had prepared these little things at home. This way, the atmosphere of their entire barbecue will be more warm. Zhang Yuxi searched for a long time in the boxes and cabinets, but still couldn't find it. Just wanted to go out and ask Lin Feng. At this time, Lin Feng slowly walked over and found that he couldn't see Zhang Yuxi in the crowd. He had never allowed Zhang Yuxi to leave his sight. So he came to look for her and found Zhang Yuxi in the room. Wife, why are you here? Lin Feng asked with a puzzled look on his face. Zhang Yuxi felt like she saw a savior when she saw Lin Feng. She immediately ran to Lin Feng and grabbed his hand. Honey, do you know where the decorations we bought before are placed? I've been looking for them for a long time and can't find them. Zhang Yuxi said excitedly. You can't find them here, idiot. Go to the living room outside, they are in the cabinet. Lin Feng said. Huh? I clearly remember that they were in the room. Zhang Yuxi scratched her head and said. You don't even remember where you put them. You are really a cute fool. Lin Feng said with a smile on his face. After that, he took Zhang Yuxi to the living room, opened the cabinet and found a pile of decorations inside. Wow, I'm going to decorate our venue today. Zhang Yuxi said excitedly. Okay, do whatever you want. Lin Feng smiled and said dotingly. Then he leaned over and helped Zhang Yuxi move the decorations out. Yuxi, what are these? Xiaoyu asked with a puzzled look when she saw boxes of things being moved out. At this time, a group of people also looked over at the same time, their eyes full of curiosity. They all wanted to come over to watch the fun. You, come here. Zhang Yuxi waved her hand happily and asked her girlfriends to come over. Here, these are the things to decorate the venue. Let's do it together later. Make it prettier. Zhang Yuxi pointed at the things in her hand and said. Okay. Decorating the venue is my favorite. Li Yi said excitedly. Then several girls immediately started to work, blowing up balloons, making colorful lights, etc. So the girls are decorating the venue. I thought it was something delicious. So he shook his head and said. You know shit. You only know how to eat. Lin Feng said immediately after hearing it. This was his fiancée's idea, and he would not tolerate others' comments. You don't understand this, do you? Girls' romance. You have a girlfriend, a straight guy. Li Yi is really wronged. The second oldest, Chen Kun, immediately tried to smooth things over and said jokingly. At this time, Zhang Yuxi and her girlfriends were busy on the side, setting up the venue seriously. Hey, we heard your conversation. Zhang Yuxi said. I just found out that he is a straight man. He's lucky to have a girlfriend like me. Li Yi said proudly. Ha 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 ha. A group of people laughed. Suhi also smiled helplessly. He didn't dare to say anything more. He had to keep silent no matter what his girlfriend said. Whatever she said was what she said. Don't say it. Suhi is quite obedient. Unlike my boyfriend, you say go east and he insists on going west. Suanna said. She also joined the ranks of complaining about her boyfriend. At this time, everyone's eyes fell on Chen Kun. She looked at him meaningfully. Don't look at me. She's just talking nonsense. Chen Kun said with a smirk. He was getting less and less confident. You guys should learn from Lin Feng. Look at how he treats Yuxi. A typical boyfriend. Suanna continued to say. Then you should learn from your sister-in-law, be gentle and considerate. Chen Kun also said unwillingly. Why? Do you think my roommates and best friends are not gentle enough? Zhang Yuxi said at this time. No. That's not what I meant. Chen Kun immediately admitted his weakness. Don't mess with the eldest brother's woman, because the eldest brother is always watching her. Ha. There was constant laughter. Suanna, I love you. Chen Kun immediately threw a wink and said mischievously. Suanna rolled her eyes at him and didn't bother to pay attention. In this way, the whole afternoon was spent in frolicking. After an afternoon of tossing and turning, the venue was finally set up. On the wide lawn, there are flowers, small trees, various plants, sofas and chairs. Zhang Yuxi and several girlfriends instantly added a lot of romantic colors. In addition, Zhang Yuxi herself is a romantic girl. Naturally, there are more ideas about this side. The balloons are mainly purple. Warm and elegant colors can always look fresh and natural in any season. At the party, the misty purple is matched with different shades of the same color system, which will definitely reap unexpected results. So choose white balloons as a supplement, which looks more romantic and pure. The lawn is green, and the party scene will appear more fashionable, elegant and exquisite. Then the small colored lights are yellow, which adds joy to the dull autumn and makes the party more warm and sweet. Of course, these strings of small colored lights will only light up at night, and they will also appear more atmospheric. Zhang Yuxi is a person who pays great attention to the sense of ceremony, and Lin Feng happens to be the same. So the two are very meticulous in the sense of ceremony. For each suite, the decoration style of the house is based on Zhang Yuxi's preferences. As long as Zhang Yuxi likes something, Raymond Lam will satisfy her. Therefore, the flowers and plants on the lawn of this apartment were carefully selected by Zhang Yuxi. Today, with the help of several girlfriends, the lawn was decorated with icing on the cake, adding a touch of romance and warmth. Chapter 1439 Give Me a Kiss. It's so beautiful. It feels like an outdoor party. Xiaoyu said excitedly. Yes, this is all Yuxi's idea. It's so beautiful. The best place for taking photos. Li Yi also said excitedly. After seeing it, Lin Feng's roommates also felt that it was a great atmosphere. You guys should learn from your sister-in-law. How romantic. You can imagine how happy the boss is. Chen Dongying started to talk nonsense. Yes, what kind of life do we live? Tisk. Suhi also teased him jokingly. Fuck you. You've suffered so much, haven't you? Li Yi immediately rushed to Suhi's side and grabbed his ear and said. Oh, auntie, I was wrong. Suhi immediately admitted his mistake and shouted. Ha. The group of people around were just watching the fun. It seemed like they were just making a fuss, but in the eyes of others, they were just showing off their love. You are showing off your love in public. Chen Kun said with a smile. Let's get started. We can start the barbecue. Lin Feng looked at his watch and said, it was already evening. At this time, everything was ready, and the brothers started to barbecue. The girls were responsible for waiting for the food. Lin Feng turned and walked into the room and took out the speakers. How could music be missing at this time? Zhang Yuxi followed behind and took out various kinds of wine. Wife, I'll do it. You just sit down and chat? Lin Feng took the wine from Zhang Yuxi and said dotingly. Husband, I'll help you, it's okay. We are the hosts today. Let me participate too. Zhang Yuxi said coquettishly. Lin Feng had to agree to Zhang Yuxi. Then the two of them moved the wine out together. At this time, the barbecue was almost done, and everyone sat together to sing and play. Boss. Come on. The brothers shouted together. Come on. Zhang Yuxi's girlfriends also shouted. At this time, Zhang Yuxi was already laughing so hard that her mouth couldn't close. because she really wanted to hear Lin Feng sing. It was a long time since he sang to her last time. Lin Feng looked at the brothers in front of him helplessly. They were really a group of good brothers. I'll sing if my wife wants to hear it. Lin Feng smiled and said to Zhang Yuxi. Oh. I want to. A group of people started to say. Then they all looked at Zhang Yuxi. Yes. I want to hear it, Zhang Yuxi said excitedly. Then Lin Feng immediately stood up and picked up the microphone. Sing an exclusive memory. This is what my wife likes to hear. Lin Feng said excitedly. Okay. Roar, roar. The brothers shouted excitedly. Zhang Yuxi was already very happy at this time. She kept looking at Lin Feng. And Lin Feng was also staring at Zhang Yuxi's singing. I like that you are my exclusive memory. No one can take you away from this body of mine. When the song reached its climax, everyone sang in chorus. But Raymond Lam's eyes never left Zhang Yuxi. From the beginning to the end, he was always very affectionate. Raymond Lam sang the song affectionately. Give me a kiss. Give me a kiss. Give me a kiss. A group of people were shouting in a booing manner. At this time, Raymond Lam came over and sat next to Zhang Yuxi. Zhang Yuxi blushed instantly because of everyone's booing. Her little face was like a red apple. Give me a kiss. Everyone was still shouting. Raymond Lam leaned down without hesitation and kissed Zhang Yuxi gently. Instantly, bursts of applause rang out, noisy. Chen Kun, go up and sing a song. Xiaoyu immediately pushed her boyfriend and shouted. Ha ha ha, hurry up. Be more manly. Chen Dongyan, who was just looking for trouble, started to make trouble again. Get out of here. Chen Kun punched Chen Dongyan and said. My tone-deaf singing is so awful. Kill the pig. Chen Kun immediately joked. It's okay, we just like to listen to something different. Lin Feng said with a wicked smile. The boss has spoken. Hurry up. Suhi said excitedly. Ha 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 ha. The girls were all watching the show. My girlfriend is so nice. She had to cue me. Chen Kun said, shaking his head helplessly. Then he dragged his reluctant body over and picked up the microphone. Ladies and gentlemen. Next, let's sing them an ugly song. Please forgive me if what I'm going to say next makes you uncomfortable. Chen Kun said with a smile on his face. As soon as Chen Kun started to sing the first sentence, the brothers couldn't help laughing. The girls were also very uncomfortable. Because since ancient times, Chen Kun's singing has been recognized as unpleasant and tone-deaf, which can be described as ghosts crying and wolves howling. So every time there is such an occasion, everyone will ask Chen Kun to show his skills and make everyone happy. Chen Kun is also the source of happiness among a group of friends. No matter what he does or says, it is very funny. Of course, he is easy to become the object of everyone's ridicule, because singing can be said for a lifetime. He is indispensable for singing sessions. Chen Kun gritted his teeth and sang the whole song funny. He is really the source of laughter for a group of people. Hey, I think I look like an ugly monster. Chen Kun said self-deprecatingly after eating. Ha 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 ha. Everyone laughed again. No. Still very handsome. Girlfriend Sue Anna said excitedly. Stinky girl. I don't believe it when you say this now. Chen Kun said with a proud look on his face. The two began to play and fight, talking and bickering with each other. They sang, drank and played games. In such a good environment, with good friends, loved ones around, good wine and such a beautiful moonlight, this is happiness. Seeing Zhang Yuxi so happy, Lin Feng was more determined to believe that today's decision was right. Organize everyone to have a barbecue and drink together. It was very lively. Seeing Zhang Yuxi so happy, he was also happy. Wife, drink less. Just a token of appreciation. Lin Feng admonished Zhang Yuxi and said. Because everyone was having so much fun together and clinking glasses from time to time, he was worried that Zhang Yuxi would drink too much. After all, he knew Zhang Yuxi's alcohol tolerance very well. Very poor. But this silly girl sometimes couldn't control herself and drank a few more glasses. Okay, have a good time today, Zhang Yuxi said with a pink little face. Don't drink too much. If you lose the game, I'll drink. Lin Feng said lovingly. Oha. Zhang Yuxi nodded madly and obediently. Chapter 1440 Silly Wife, what are you thinking about? But in the next game session, Zhang Yuxi basically kept losing. It was simply a game black hole. Haha, sister-in-law lost again. Suhi laughed and said. I'll drink. Lin Feng said with a look of a domineering president. Zhang Yuxi was responsible for playing and he was responsible for drinking. However, Zhang Yuxi still had to grab the cup and drink the wine from time to time, because she was also worried that Lin Feng drank too much. They both considered each other. Oh, Yuxi kept losing because she didn't know how to drink normally and didn't understand the games on your drinking table. At this time, Xiaoyu said, "That's it. I'll kill you all in seconds when I get familiar with it." Li Yi and Su Anna also hurriedly followed suit. "Let you guys win for now," Zhang Yuxi also said confidently. Lin Feng looked at this silly wife, wondering where she got her confidence from at this time. From the beginning to the end, she was basically the one who lost, and Lin Feng was just the opposite of her, always winning. The brothers were most afraid of playing drinking games with Lin Feng, because no one can beat him. They will definitely lose if they play, and they will definitely drink the wine. Lin Feng was also amused by Zhang Yuxi's words. "She is worthy of being my woman, Lin Feng, and she cannot lose in momentum." "My silly wife," Lin Feng said in a very doting tone. He. Zhang Yuxi laughed cutely. Just like that, they kept playing games back and forth, and Zhang Yuxi suddenly became active. This is not her character at all. Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi's pink face. Oh, the silly girl must be a little drunk. But she mostly drank red wine. Because Lin Feng was worried that she would drink too much, so he always let her drink wine. But Zhang Yuxi was still a little drunk at this time. Just when she was about to pick up the wine glass and drink, Lin Feng immediately stopped her. "Wife, don't drink any more, dear," Lin Feng said gently. "Yeah," Zhang Yuxi said delicately. Then he took Zhang Yuxi away from here and brought her back to the room. Lin Feng picked up Zhang Yuxi. Zhang Yuxi was also obedient and didn't make any noise. She hugged Lin Feng's neck and lay on his shoulder. "Hubby," Zhang Yuxi whispered softly. Lin Feng also responded softly. "Hubby," Zhang Yuxi continued to call. Lin Feng also responded in unison. Just like that, Zhang Yuxi kept calling and Lin Feng kept responding. Lin Feng held her in the bedroom and gently put her down and covered her with a blanket. Zhang Yuxi was looking at Lin Feng in a daze, and gently stroked Lin Feng's face with her hand. "Hubby, I love you. I love you," Zhang Yuxi said coquettishly. "I love you more." "Silly wife," Lin Feng said very gently. "I didn't expect this silly girl to be so drunk that she got drunk after drinking a little." Lin Feng gently pushed the hair on Zhang Yuxi's face away, holding her pink face and looking at it steadily. He always couldn't help wanting to kiss her. So he gently kissed Zhang Yuxi on the forehead. "Wife, wait for me. I'll go out and see them." Lin Feng touched Zhang Yuxi's face and said. Zhang Yuxi was already drowsy at this time. Relying on her own consciousness, she nodded in response. Then Lin Feng walked out reluctantly, looking back from time to time, deliberately leaving the door open. "Boss, it's quite late. We're going back to He said immediately when he saw Lin Feng coming out. After all, when Lin Feng carried Zhang Yuxi in, they had almost finished discussing, so they packed up and went back. "Okay, don't drive after drinking. If you want to stay, you can. Anyway, there are several rooms for you to stay," Lin Feng said calmly. After all, the brothers had all drunk alcohol, it was midnight, and it was not safe on the road. If they stayed, it would be no problem. There were many rooms in the house, enough for them to live in. Anyway, the second one didn't have to go to class. "No, boss, we're going back. Just call a designated driver," Chen Kun said. "Okay." Lin Feng didn't say anything more. Since they had called a designated driver, and they didn't want to stay overnight, forget it. "Come on, let's clean up." The girls spoke up one after another. Sure enough, girls pay more attention to this aspect, and after they finished speaking, everyone started to clean up together. Lin Feng was worried about Zhang Yuxi, and he would go to the door from time to time to take a look at her. He felt relieved when he found that she was still lying on the bed obediently. In less than a while, the venue is cleaned up. Generally speaking, as long as there is a party at home, Lin Feng will basically clean up in the end, and he doesn't need Zhang Yuxi to worry about it. Sometimes they play late, he will remind Zhang Yuxi to go to bed early, but every time Zhang Yuxi is not very confident about them, thinking about the cleaning up together at the end. In the end, she found that Lin Feng could clean up every time, and he won her heart, and slowly she felt relieved. "Boss, let's go," the brother said. "Well, be careful," Lin Feng said. In the end, everyone left, and it became much quieter. Lin Feng immediately ran to the bedroom. At this time, Zhang Yuxi also felt Lin Feng's presence. "Honey, I want to take a shower. It's sticky and uncomfortable," Zhang Yuxi said coquettishly. "Okay, I'll help you wash." Lin Feng also agreed immediately. He knew Zhang Yuxi best. She was a germaphobe, and she would never allow such a situation as lying in bed without taking a shower. Only a good shower and cleanliness would be allowed. So she really couldn't accept going to bed without taking a shower, even though she was a little drunk now. Then Lin Feng immediately picked her up and walked to the bathroom. After a while, Zhang Yuxi, who had taken a shower, was carried back by Lin Feng. At this time, she was a little sober, but her head was still a little dizzy. She suddenly thought that she should not have done anything crazy when she was drunk just now, right? After all, her alcohol tolerance was really too poor. It was so embarrassing. Zhang Yuxi became more and more shy the more she thought about it. Lin Feng found that she was blankly thinking about something. "Silly wife, what are you thinking about?" Lin Feng asked. Oh, that's it. Honey, did I say anything nonsense when I was drunk?" Zhang Yuxi said with hazy eyes. Are you feeling shy? Will you drink more next time?" Lin Feng said with a doting smile. "Hey, how would I know?" Zhang Yuxi became less and less confident as she spoke. How could she know that her alcohol tolerance was so poor? She got drunk after drinking a few more glasses. "Okay, my wife is very obedient. Just keep saying you love me," Lin Feng said proudly. That must be the truth after drinking. True love, Zhang Yuxi said with a smile. After saying that, she immediately jumped on Lin Feng, and Lin Feng immediately hugged her. "I'm dirty, full of alcohol and barbecue smell," Lin Feng said. "Huh? You old man are very bad. Stinky husband," Zhang Yuxi said mischievously. "Who are you calling a bad old man? Am I bad? How bad? Huh?" Lin Feng looked straight at Zhang Yuxi. Then he put her on the quilt and pressed his body on her. Chapter 1441, Parents' Phone Call. "Home it stinks. Go away." Zhang Yuxi kicked Lin Feng away and told him to take a shower. Then Lin Feng went to take a shower obediently. Zhang Yuxi, who was lying in bed, felt sleepy because she was still drunk and fell asleep before Lin Feng came. After taking a shower, Lin Feng found that Zhang Yuxi had fallen asleep, so he moved carefully. He was afraid of disturbing Zhang Yuxi. He tiptoed to the next room to deal with the company's affairs. Lin Feng was not drunk at all. The wine he drank tonight was really a piece of cake for him. So now his mind was very clear and he hurried to deal with the affairs. Ding-ling-ling. At this time, Lin Feng's mobile phone suddenly rang. It was already 12 o'clock in the night. Who was calling at this time? Lin Feng also walked over and picked up the phone with a puzzled look on his face. The phone showed, "Dad, Lin Dashan." Lin Feng answered the phone directly. "Hello, Lin Feng," Lin Dashan said in a low voice. "Well, what's the matter, Dad?" Lin Feng responded. He suddenly felt a little uneasy. Why did his father call him so late? Could it be something? "Are you free tomorrow? Take Yuxi home for dinner," Lin Feng's father said slowly. "Dad, you called me so late, I thought it was something." "Okay, I know, I'll go back with Yuxi tomorrow." Lin Feng's heart was relieved. "Son, what could be the matter? It's just that your mother misses your daughter-in-law. I couldn't wait to call you while chatting with your father." At this time, the excited voice of his mother Jocelyn came from the other end of the phone. Lin Feng's mother likes Zhang Yuxi very much and loves her very much. Just like treating her own daughter. Now I haven't seen Zhang Yuxi for a long time, and mother Jocelyn really misses her. Because after discussing with Lin Feng's father, she called Lin Feng in the middle of the night and asked him to bring Zhang Yuxi home for dinner tomorrow. "I know, Mom. Don't get excited. You have more daughter-in-law in your heart than me," Lin Feng said jokingly. Of course, it was also his wish that his parents loved Zhang Yuxi. After all, the most serious family conflict in today's society is the relationship between mother-in-law and daughter-in-law. On the contrary, his mother liked Zhang Yuxi even more than she liked him. Even his father was the same. He would always tell Zhang Yuxi that if he bullied her, he should tell his father and he would make the decision. Because of the appearance of Zhang Yuxi, the relationship between him and his parents became closer. "It's enough to have my daughter-in-law. No matter you. Your wife is the most important." Mother Jocelyn also smiled and said. Okay, your daughter-in-law is already asleep. We'll go back together tomorrow." After hanging up the phone, Lin Feng smiled and shook his head. Then he continued to deal with the affairs of the company. After an hour, Lin Feng rubbed his temples and stretched. At this time, he was a little tired, because he also drank a little wine, and sleepiness came up all of a sudden. Lin Feng looked at the time. It was already past 1 in the middle of the night. At this time, the dazed Zhang Yuxi also came over, because she woke up and found that Lin Feng was not around. I guessed that he must be staying up late to work. Then he went to the next room with a confused head. Wife, why are you up? Lin Feng followed and hugged Zhang Yuxi tightly. Husband, don't stay up late. Come and sleep with me. Zhang Yuxi muttered softly. Lin Feng carried Zhang Yuxi back to the bedroom, and he didn't mention the call from his parents. He thought he would tell her when he woke up tomorrow. The next morning, Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi slept until 10 o'clock. Zhang Yuxi was still squirming in the quilt like a little lazy cat, stretching. Wife, are you still sleepy? Lin Feng said in a gentle tone. Well, fortunately, I've slept enough. Zhang Yuxi replied in a lazy voice. Then she got into Lin Feng's arms and hugged him tightly. Wife, I'll get up and make you some breakfast. Lin Feng stroked Zhang Yuxi's hair and said. Well. Zhang Yuxi raised her head and touched Lin Feng's Adam's apple and said. Lin Feng immediately grabbed her hand, with a slight smile on his face. Wife, are you teasing me? Lin Feng said with a smile. Zhang Yuxi immediately pulled her hand away from Lin Feng's hand after hearing this, and then shyly buried her head in Lin Feng's chest. How could I? Zhang Yuxi muttered softly. This silly girl started playing with fire this morning. Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi in his arms lovingly, and his mouth corners unconsciously rose. Wife, a man's Adam's apple cannot be touched casually. Lin Feng said slowly. Why? Zhang Yuxi said with a big doubt on her little head. Her big round eyes were watery. Even Lin Feng was amused by this cute look. Why? I just touched it. Zhang Yuxi saw Lin Feng laughing unconsciously, and continued to speak with a proud face. Oh, how should I tell this silly girl? Should I say I can't control myself? His body had already reacted after waking up, and Zhang Yuxi was beside him, so sometimes he was already trying his best to restrain himself. Lin Feng thought about it again and again in his mind. While Lin Feng hadn't answered yet, Zhang Yuxi playfully touched Lin Feng's Adam's apple. Huh? Wife, I can't help it if you do it again. Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi in his arms affectionately. At this time, Zhang Yuxi felt Lin Feng's reaction and immediately obeyed. Lin Feng hugged her tighter and tighter, and Zhang Yuxi almost couldn't breathe again. Silly husband. I can't breathe. Zhang Yuxi complained loudly. Lin Feng immediately calmed himself down and slowly let go of his hand. See if you come to tease me again. Next time, it won't be so simple to hug you. Lin Feng smiled and said jokingly. I'm hungry. Zhang Yuxi said proudly. Get up, I'll make you a simple breakfast. By the way, my parents called last night. Let me take you home for dinner today. I'll make you something simple to eat later. Then go to my parents' house for lunch at noon. Lin Feng said. No wonder I vaguely heard you talking on the phone when I was half asleep last night. It turned out to be my parents' call. I haven't been there for dinner for a while. Then I'll pack up and we'll leave after breakfast. Zhang Yuxi said with a smile on her face. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 1442 She Deserves the Best. Then Lin Feng got up and went to the kitchen. He planned to make a simple breakfast, boil 2 eggs, and heat 2 cups of milk. Zhang Yuxi got up and tidied the quilt and pillow, then went to the bathroom to wash up, and then put on a simple light makeup. Although Zhang Yuxi's beauty does not need any external decoration at all, she is naturally beautiful. But she still felt that she should be careful to put on light makeup to show that she also attaches great importance to going home for dinner. Then Lin Feng followed closely behind, washed up and tidied up. Wife, what should I wear today? Lin Feng scratched his head and said. Hey, I've already matched it for you. Zhang Yuxi pointed to a set of clothes on the sofa and said. Since they lived together, basically Lin Feng's clothes for going out were carefully prepared by Zhang Yuxi. So every time before going out, Lin Feng did not need to look for clothes, because Zhang Yuxi had already matched them. Couple outfit. Lin Feng took a look at the clothes on the sofa, and then looked at the clothes Zhang Yuxi was wearing, which happened to be couple outfits. When he was preparing breakfast, he was thinking about asking Zhang Yuxi to prepare couple outfits, but he didn't expect Zhang Yuxi to think the same as him. This is tacit understanding. Yes, why? Don't you want to? Zhang Yuxi said. How could that be? I was planning to wear couple outfits today. My wife knows my heart very well. Lin Feng explained. That's a must. I'm the worm in your stomach. Zhang Yuxi said jokingly with a smile. Lin Feng also laughed. Let's go, have breakfast. Lin Feng said. Then the two came to the dining table and had a simple breakfast. Husband, let's go to the supermarket to buy some things later. Then go back. Zhang Yuxi said. After all, they were going to their parents' house. Zhang Yuxi still felt that they had to prepare some things, and they couldn't go back empty-handed. Lin Feng naturally knew his wife's intentions. Okay, all up to you. Lin Feng said. Bring the skincare products I bought from the counter last time to my mother later. I never had the chance to give them to her. Zhang Yuxi said excitedly. Then he immediately got up and ran to the room, found the skincare products, and carefully packed them. Lin Feng felt very warm in his heart when he saw Zhang Yuxi being so positive. She valued her parents so much and treated his parents like her own parents. Although Lin Feng treated Zhang Yuxi's parents very well, he was very attentive, even more than his own parents. Because he was also very grateful to his father-in-law and mother-in-law for cultivating such an excellent woman, so that he had such an excellent wife. Now Zhang Yuxi mostly lives with Lin Feng, and can't often be with her parents, so Lin Feng treats her parents very attentively. Every time he goes back, he will give a sum of money and prepare a bunch of things. Of course, Zhang Yuxi also sees all this. Lin Feng is so good to her parents, she naturally has to give back. In addition, Lin Feng's parents treat Zhang Yuxi as if she were their own daughter, which makes Zhang Yuxi feel very warm. Sometimes they treat her better than Lin Feng. So every time she goes back to Lin Feng's parents' house, Zhang Yuxi will carefully prepare things to take back. Even if she goes out shopping or playing, she will think about bringing some gifts to her mother-in-law. Both sides are thinking about each other in their hearts. Dating is a matter between two people, but marriage is a matter between two families. Fortunately, Zhang Yuxi met a good man, such a good Lin Feng, and such kind parents-in-law. So she can say that she has reduced a lot of troubles in life. She is a treasure in the palm of her hand and a pearl in the palm of her hand among all her relatives. It is conceivable that Zhang Yuxi's family status is still very high. In the final analysis, the most important thing is that Lin Feng loves her very much. After a simple breakfast, Lin Feng went out with Zhang Yuxi and went directly to the supermarket. Zhang Yuxi started to pick things non-stop and filled the shopping cart in a moment. Wife, is that enough? Lin Feng said slowly. Well, it's almost done. Zhang Yuxi responded lightly. Wife, I usually think twice before buying things for myself. I don't hesitate to buy things for my parents. Lin Feng said with a smile on his face. It is true. In daily life, Zhang Yuxi is still very frugal for Lin Feng. She buys what she needs and is very good at living. But she is very filial to her parents and is very willing to spend money. She will prepare the best things for her parents, and she will never complain about too little. Of course, this is for mom and dad. You must be willing to spend money. Zhang Yuxi said in an affirmative tone. It's all your fault for not telling me earlier. I got up late and didn't have much time to prepare. Zhang Yuxi complained dissatisfiedly. Usually, Zhang Yuxi would prepare things in advance when she followed Lin Feng to see her parents. This time, it was impromptu and urgent. Okay, mom and dad just want to see you. They will be happy when you go back. What's more, you have bought a lot of things now. Lin Feng said comfortingly. It's different. Mom and dad are so good to me. I also want to be more filial. Zhang Yuxi pouted and said. There will be many opportunities in the future, silly wife. Lin Feng smiled and said. As soon as he finished speaking, Lin Feng's mobile phone rang. Ding-ling-ling. Lin Feng took out his cell phone and answered it. Son, are you back? Lin Feng's mother Jacqueline said excitedly on the other side of the phone. Prepare. Wait about an hour. Lin Feng replied. Okay. We are already preparing the food. I want to see you arrive in time, otherwise I'm afraid the food will get cold. All prepared are Yuxi's favorite. Mother Jacqueline said with a smile. Mom, what about my favorite food? Lin Feng asked deliberately jokingly. You eat whatever your wife eats. Mother Jocelyn simply said casually. Great, you are all united. Okay, I know. Lin Feng shook his head helplessly and said, then hung up the phone. What's the matter, husband? What did Mom say? Zhang Yuxi asked curiously with her little head tilted. Hey, Mom said all prepared are your favorite dishes. What do you want me to eat? I can only eat. You are really my dear mother. Lin Feng smiled bitterly and said. Ha 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 ha. Zhang Yuxi laughed mercilessly. She is worthy of being my mother-in-law. Poor my baby. Then she said with a smile on her face. Lin Feng could only sigh. Now I only have the love of my wife. Lin Feng smiled and said. Who said that? How much do my parents love you? Now they look for me to care about you and not me. Humph, as expected, the mother-in-law likes her son-in-law more and more. Zhang Yuxi also said angrily. That's a must. Who made my son-in-law so outstanding? Lin Feng immediately said proudly. Zhang Yuxi took the opportunity to roll his eyes at him. But she was secretly happy in her heart. Her parents liked Lin Feng so much, and she was happy too. It shows that her parents still recognize Lin Feng very much and are relieved to hand her over to him. But then again, Lin Feng is indeed very outstanding. Of course, Lin Feng also thought so. His parents like Zhang Yuxi so much, and this is what he hopes for. No parent would dislike a girl as beautiful and outstanding as Zhang Yuxi. She deserves the best. So Raymond Lam also tries his best to give her the best. Chapter 1443 United Front. Okay, let's go. Mom and Dad have been waiting for too long. Zhang Yuxi said playfully. Then Lin Feng pushed the full shopping cart to the front desk to pay, and then he carried the shopping bags with his full male strength, one in each hand. Zhang Yuxi followed him obediently. Just like that, it was almost 12 o'clock. Lin Feng drove Zhang Yuxi to his parents' home immediately. Fortunately, the distance to his parents' home was not far, and it only took 40 to 50 minutes to drive there. On the way home, Lin Feng's cell phone rang again. He guessed that it was his mother calling. So he asked Zhang Yuxi to answer the phone. Hello, Mom. Zhang Yuxi said obediently after hanging up the phone. Hey, Yuxi, are you back? Mother Jocelyn became excited when she heard her daughter-in-law's voice. Mom, we are on the way and will be there in a while. Zhang Yuxi answered. Okay, you guys go slowly, don't rush. Mother Jocelyn said in a good voice. Okay, Mom. See you later. Zhang Yuxi responded gently, and then hung up the phone. Honey, are you nervous? Lin Feng asked. Zhang Yuxi immediately shook her head. It's okay, I've met them many times. Zhang Yuxi replied. It's not a bit nervous, after all, they are Lin Feng's parents. It seems okay to say that she is nervous, after all, it's not the first time they meet, and they are more or less familiar with each other. I still remember the first time she met Lin Feng's parents, which I will never forget. That was when she was really nervous. Fortunately, his parents were very kind to her and took good care of her. So she relaxed a lot. Now, she and Lin Feng are engaged, and they just need a marriage certificate. Now they are a real family. Gradually getting familiar with each other, they are not so nervous. Just like this, more than 10 minutes passed and they arrived at Lin Feng's parents' house at noon. Ding dong ding dong. Lin Feng carried 2 large bags of things, and Zhang Yuxi was responsible for ringing the doorbell. I'm coming. The voice of his mother Jocelyn came from the room. Click. Mother opened the door, and Father Lin Dashan followed behind. Hey, Yuxi, come in quickly. Jocelyn grabbed Zhang Yuxi's hand and said. Dad, Mom. Zhang Yuxi called out obediently. Father Lin Dashan nodded with a smile on his face. The 2 adults completely ignored Lin Feng's existence, and only had eyes for Zhang Yuxi. Lin Feng just followed behind with 2 large bags of things in his hands. Mom and Dad, you still have a son. Don't you want these things? My wife bought them all. Lin Feng said helplessly. Ho ha ho ha. Zhang Yuxi and Lin Feng's parents laughed at the same time. Looking at the pitiful Lin Feng. Oh, son, I'm sorry, Mom was so happy to see my daughter-in-law that I forgot about you. Mother Jocelyn said jokingly with a smile on her face. Mom, you didn't forget me because you saw my wife, but you forgot me since you had Yuxi. Lin Feng also started joking and smiled bitterly. Ha ha ha. Another round of laughter. Father Lin Dashan was already laughing so hard that his mouth couldn't close. Yuxi, come on, Sit down and eat. Juggling immediately turned around and said to Zhang Yuxi. Since she entered the door, her mother Juggling has been holding her hand and never letting go. The family came to the dining table and sat down. Mother Juggling personally served the meal and handed it to Zhang Yuxi. Mom, I can do it myself. Zhang Yuxi said flattered. Eat, eat. Mother Juggling said dotingly. Thank you, Mom, Zhang Yuxi said obediently. The bowls of Father Lin Dashan and Lin Feng were empty. The father didn't dare to say a word, so he had to get up and get the meal silently. Mom, where's mine? Lin Feng said, holding up the bowl. Go by yourself. Juggling replied lightly. Husband, come and I'll get you some food. Zhang Yuxi said. Wife, eat obediently. Lin Feng said dotingly. How could he bear to let Zhang Yuxi help him get food at this time? Yuxi, don't spoil him. Men can't be spoiled, or they will become bad. Juggling said with a smile on her face. Zhang Yuxi sympathized with Lin Feng's experience, but she also felt warm in her heart. Her mother-in-law favored her so much that she felt fearless. Dad, I protest. Lin Feng said to his father jokingly. The protest is invalid. Father Lin Dashan replied simply. After all, your dad has been like this for so many years. Then the father continued to speak. Dad, I'm different from you. I have a wife who loves me, do you? Lin Feng said mischievously. Ha 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 ha. There was laughter again at the dinner table. I'll lose to you in this regard. You kid is luckier than me. Lin Dashan shook his head helplessly and said. Dad, you are making dangerous remarks. Be careful, my mom won't cook for you after we leave. Lin Feng joked with a grin. Even so, this dead guy still thinks I'm not good to him. Look, my son cooks for Yuxi himself. Fortunately, my son didn't inherit your shortcomings. Lin's mother said unwillingly. Mom, that's because my wife is gentle. You are so fierce. Lin Feng said in a low voice. In fact, he wanted to say that his mother was like a tigress, and Yuxi was like a cat. How could they be the same? But Lin Feng swallowed the words and euphemistically said fierce. Lin's mother was also amused by Lin Feng's words. It seems that she is indeed a little fierce in normal days. But since Zhang Yuxi appeared, with his gentle and kind daughter-in-law, Juggling has also restrained her bad temper. The tone of her speech has also become gentle. This is also deeply influenced by Zhang Yuxi. This is the so-called love for the house and the dog. After having a daughter-in-law, I have become a lot better. Lin's mother said proudly. Mom, you are a little gentle to my wife. My dad and I don't enjoy that treatment. Lin Feng said with a smile on his face. His father Lin Dashan also nodded silently and said nothing, completely agreeing with Lin Feng's statement. The father and son can be said to be a united front. Smelly boy. You are so talkative. Mother Lin said. Come on, Yuxi, eat more. These are all your favorites. Mother Lin immediately said to Zhang Yuxi beside her. Okay, Mom has worked hard. And she specially cooked a table full of dishes. Zhang Yuxi was very moved, looking at the table full of her favorite dishes, and they were all still hot. It can be imagined how sincere Lin's father and mother are to her. Indeed. Since calling Lin Feng last night, Mother Juggling has been thinking about going to the vegetable market early tomorrow morning to select good ingredients. Chapter 1444 A Gift from Mom. The next morning, it was slightly light. Mother Lin got up early and hurried out to the vegetable market. Because only by rushing to the earliest batch can you buy the best and freshest ingredients. In order to let her daughter-in-law eat delicious meals, Mother Lin was also very attentive. She went to select ingredients early in the morning without caring about the hard work. Before 7 o'clock, Mother Lin had bought a lot of ingredients. She went home with full of love and prepared to make a big table of delicious food for her son and daughter-in-law at noon today. After all, Mother Lin's cooking skills are quite good. The meals she made are very suitable for Zhang Yuxi's taste, so every time she came to her parents' house, Zhang Yuxi ate with relish. It's okay you rarely come here. Mother Lin said. Mom, it's delicious. Really? Zhang Yuxi said with a smile. Then you should eat more. Mother Lin smiled with satisfaction and said. She also kept putting vegetables into Zhang Yuxi's bowl. Oh, Mom, you are feeding the pigs. My wife can't eat any more. Lin Feng immediately said in a tone of a crazy wife protecting demon. Wife, if you can't eat, give it to me. Lin Feng said dotingly. He was worried that Lin's mother was too enthusiastic and Zhang Yuxi couldn't bear to refuse because of face, so she bit the bullet and ate it. Oh, you little brat. Don't worry, I won't bully your wife. Lin's mother laughed unconsciously when she heard Lin Feng's words and said, "He. Husband, it's okay, I'm hungry." Zhang Yuxi also said with a happy face. The happy family, eating and bickering, is very warm. After a pleasant lunch, Mother Zhou took Zhang Yuxi to sit on the sofa in the living room and chat about family matters. Zhou seemed particularly excited because she hadn't seen her daughter-in-law for a long time. Since the first time she saw Zhang Yuxi, she liked this girl very much. Lin's mother has also lived for most of her life and has seen countless people. She has seen all kinds of people, so she naturally has the ability to judge people. She was attracted to Zhang Yuxi the first time she saw her. She could also feel Zhang Yuxi's thoughtfulness and kindness. They were all from the heart. So her mother Zhou has loved Zhang Yuxi more since then. In addition, she herself has no daughter, only Lin Feng, a son. It is said that sons are not as caring as daughters, which is indeed true. At least this is the case in most cases. So after Lin Feng brought Zhang Yuxi to meet his parents, Zhang Yuxi would also care about Lin Feng's parents very much in daily life. Therefore, Mother Zhou also felt that she had an extra daughter from then on. Naturally, she treated Zhang Yuxi as her own daughter. The main reason is that Zhang Yuxi is indeed very likable, and the elders love her even more. "Mom, these are all picked by my wife for you." Lin Feng pointed to the 2 large bags of things in front of him and said. Then the whole family looked over. "It's good that you are here, and you bought so many things. I'm very happy to go home and have dinner with us." Father Lin said with a smile on his face. "Yuxi, I said before that you don't need to buy anything when you come to my mother's house in the future. You bought a lot again. I'm very happy that you can come. I just missed you. Don't buy so many things next time." Mother Zhou said with admonition. It seems like she is blaming Zhang Yuxi for buying so many things, but in fact it is full of love. Zhou said so naturally in her heart. She just missed her daughter-in-law, so she asked Lin Feng to take her home to have a meal together. Although occasionally she and Lin Feng's father would go to the young couple's new house, cook a meal for them to eat and clean up for them. But Lin Feng's parents are very sensible and know how to keep a certain distance from the young couple. They will not interfere too much in the lives of the young couple and give them their own space. It can be said that they are very sensible. Although Zhang Yuxi often said that the old couple can come over often if they have time. But Lin Feng's parents are still very sensible and will not contact frequently. After all, this is the truth that Mother Zhou has realized after living for so many years. The most direct way to avoid conflicts is to have less contact. There is still a big difference between the lifestyle of young people and the lifestyle of the elderly and middle-aged. So whenever Zhou misses her daughter-in-law, she will go to the new house to see them, or ask Lin Feng to bring her back to her home for a meal. Of course, Zhang Yuxi often asks Lin Feng to go home to see the old couple. "Oh, Mom, it's okay, we can't come often, and I still think it's not enough," Zhang Yuxi said comfortingly. "By the way, Mom, I bought a set of skincare products for you outside the counter. I saw it when Lin Feng and I went out to play and brought it back by the way," Zhang Yuxi continued to say. "Our counter is out of stock. I went out to play before, and my wife saw it and bought it for you." Lin Feng continued to explain beside him. He was afraid that his mother would not know the kindness of his daughter-in-law. "Oh, Yuxi always brings me gifts every time she goes out to play. Where can I find such a good daughter-in-law?" I said no, but Yuxi always brings it, and I really can't resist her, Mother Zhou said with emotion. "Actually, Mom is so happy." "Ha ha ha." Lin Feng laughed and said mischievously. His father Lin was also amused instantly. Zhang Yuxi rolled her eyes at Lin Feng, and then pretended to pat Lin Feng's thigh hard. His mother was indeed laughing from ear to ear. "Happy? How can I not be happy about what my daughter-in-law bought for me? Yuxi is really thoughtful," Zhou also said with a happy face. "As long as Mom is happy," Zhang Yuxi answered obediently, with a very sweet smile on her face. Zhou was still immersed in such a warm and happy atmosphere. "Did you forget something?" Father Lin patted Zhou to remind her. Oh, right. I was so happy that I almost forgot." Zhou came back to her senses and said excitedly. Just when Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi were looking at each other with question marks on their faces, Zhou had already stood up and hurried to the bedroom. In less than a minute, Zhou came out with a box in her hand. Sitting next to Zhang Yuxi, Come, Yuxi, this is the gold bracelet that Mom bought for you. Try it on and see if it fits you. Zhou Qilin opened the box and took out the gold bracelet while speaking. Zhang Yuxi was obviously a little overwhelmed and glanced at Lin Feng. Wife, it's okay, this is a little gift from Mom. Lin Feng immediately said comfortingly. Mom, this is too expensive. Zhang Yuxi said a little embarrassedly. It's okay, this is a gift from Mom. Zhou Qilin put it on Zhang Yuxi immediately after she finished speaking. Chapter 1445 Praising Yourself in Disguise. It fits very well. Zhou Qilin said with a satisfied smile. The reason why Mother Zhou Qilin was able to buy the right bracelet for Zhang Yuxi was because Zhou Qilin had learned about it in advance through Lin Feng before. Although she usually gave gifts to her future daughter-in-law, such as gold necklaces and gold earrings, it was the first time she gave a gold bracelet, so she had to ask Lin Feng about the size. Because Lin Feng knew Zhang Yuxi's size very well. After all, he bought a lot of these gifts for Zhang Yuxi after they got together. So Zhou Qilin bought the right gold bracelet for Zhang Yuxi just right. This. Thank you, Mom. Zhang Yuxi put it on before she could react, and hurriedly said thank you. You're welcome. Wait for you and Lin Feng to have a wedding in the future. Mom and Dad will prepare a more generous gift for you. Zhou Qilin said excitedly. She had been waiting for that day to come and had planned everything. Mom, you might scare my wife. My wife will be so scared that she won't dare to marry me. Lin Feng said jokingly. He was worried that his mother was too enthusiastic and Zhang Yuxi would be at a loss. So he helped to make fun of her. Bad boy. You must have made Yuxi feel wronged. If she doesn't marry you, it's your fault. Mother Zhou Qilin turned around and criticized Lin Feng. Oh, this family's status is worrying. Lin Feng felt bitter. He smiled helplessly. Yuxi, if Lin Feng bullies you, tell Mom and Dad. We'll take care of him. Even his father Lin Dashan, who didn't talk much, joined the team and said. Yes, beat him if he doesn't listen. It's okay, we support you. If he dares to bully you, we won't let him go. Mother Zhou Qilin also said with instructions. Lin Feng looked at his parents in disbelief. They are indeed my parents. My wife loves me so much, how can I bear to bully her? Lin Feng said helplessly. Since Zhang Yuxi came into being, his family status has gradually declined, and his parents love Zhang Yuxi even more. However, he is still very happy. This is what he wants most. As long as Zhang Yuxi is happy, he will be satisfied. Zhang Yuxi couldn't help laughing after hearing what Lin Feng's parents said. Mom and Dad, Lin Feng is very good. And he is also very, very good to me. He never lets me suffer any grievances. So you can rest assured. Zhang Yuxi smiled and said. Look, my wife knows best. Lin Feng immediately said proudly. Tisk you stinky boy. Zhou Qilin shook her head and murmured. Yuxi, do you like these things that Mom bought? Zhou Qilin asked. Because she was also worried that young people would not like her vision. Every time she went to choose a gift for Zhang Yuxi, she would do her homework in advance, what styles young people like, and carefully choose before buying. She found that she had never worn the gold necklace she bought for Yuxi, and she was even more worried that Zhang Yuxi would not like it. I like it. I really like it. Mom has a good eye. Zhang Yuxi responded immediately. Oh, Mom, you can't ask Yuxi to wear a gold necklace and gold earrings to class. Besides, young people like necklaces from big brands such as Cartier, Bulgari, Dior, and Chanel. Nowadays, young girls like these. Is it vulgar for someone under 20 to wear gold and silver? Lin Feng hurriedly helped to explain. He knew what his mother meant and was worried that Zhang Yuxi would be embarrassed. So he just had to explain. He also understood his mother Zhou Qilin's mood very well, fearing that he didn't do it well enough and Zhang Yuxi would not like it. After all, the preferences of young people are very different from what their parents' generation likes. Moreover, the jewelry Zhang Yuxi wears now is all bought by Lin Feng. Naturally, the things bought by his mother Zhou Qilin were put aside for the time being. Of course, Zhang Yuxi has kept them well. After all, this is Lin's mother's intention. Oh, Mom doesn't understand much at this age. I just think that gold has appreciated now, so I bought more gold for my daughter-in-law. Zhou Qilin smiled and said. Mom, you don't have to listen to Lin Feng, I like it very much. And Mom always buys things that are suitable for young people. It's just that Lin Feng also bought a lot for me, so I usually take him to buy. I keep all the things you bought well. Zhang Yuxi explained on the side. Mom, don't worry, in a few years, she will like it very much. You have to buy more for her then. Lin Feng said jokingly. Tisk. Zhang Yuxi glanced at Lin Feng and gently eyed him a few times. This fool is talking nonsense again. Zhang Yuxi seemed to be dissatisfied with Lin Feng on the surface, but in fact she was still moved by the full attention of Lin Feng's parents. She is very happy. Ha ha ha. That's great. I'll buy anything Yuxi likes. These are far from enough. Mother Juggling laughed and said dotingly. Sure enough, Lin Feng's mother is a good mother. It is because of this mother that Lin Feng can take care of people like his mother. Even the words are exactly the same. Mom, you and Lin Feng say the same thing. Zhang Yuxi smiled and said. After all, Mom is so good that she cultivated such an excellent me, right? Lin Feng said with a smile and complacent. Stinky boy, you think you are excellent. Don't take the opportunity to flatter me. Mother Juggling said unappreciatively. Of course, she knows her son very well. Ha 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 ha. There was another burst of laughter in the living room. Everyone laughed at the same time. Dad didn't say a word. Is he jealous? Only my mom has a gift and you don't. Lin Feng turned around and teased his father again. Stinky boy. Father Lin Dashan said lightly, not bothering to pay attention to his son who was talkative. Ha ha ha. Juggling laughed. Dad, we also bought some tea for you. I bought this when Lin Feng and I went out to play. Very pure tea, very good quality. I haven't had time to give it to you since I came back to class. Zhang Yuxi, who was standing aside, spoke immediately. Then she took out a can of tea and handed it to her father Lin Dashan. Because she knew that Lin Feng's father liked to drink tea, when she went out to play last time, she found a very famous local tea. Zhang Yuxi's first reaction was to buy some for Lin Feng's father. However, since she had more classes after returning and time was tight, she had not had time to send it to her parents. Originally, Zhang Yuxi also planned to go back to her parents' house with Lin Feng for dinner in the near future and then bring it over. It just so happened that Lin Feng's parents missed her. She called Lin Feng to take her back for dinner. It just fulfilled her wish. Chapter 1446. I won't delay your date. Oh, thank you, Yuxi. You've taken so much trouble. Father Lin Dashan was also very moved and said. At the same time, he also felt very warm, having such a good daughter-in-law, caring about the two elders and treating them like their own daughters. He was also very happy in his heart. But Lin Dashan, who usually doesn't talk much, was also excited at this time. Dad, I'm happy. This is all your daughter-in-law's intention. I didn't think of this at the time. She reminded me and bought it. She knows you like to drink tea. Lin Feng explained that the expert was online and said. Happy. Daughter-in-law is more caring than sons. Father Lin Dashan smiled from ear to ear and said happily. How can your dad not be happy? Since Yuxi was born, I have received many gifts. Mother Juggling also said jokingly. Yuxi is a caring little cotton-padded jacket. Juggling continued to laugh. Mom and Dad bought me a lot of gifts. These are what we should do. I hope you can be happy and take care of your health. Zhang Yuxi said. As long as your parents are healthy, it is more important than anything else. Lin Feng, go back and see your parents-in-law when you have time next week. Father Lin Dashan urged. Yes, find time to go back and see them. Yuxi's parents miss you too. Mother Juggling also said. I know, Dad. I'll go back with Yuxi sometime. Lin Feng said seriously. You can't go back empty-handed. As a son-in-law, you know what to do. Father Lin Dashan said. Don't worry, Dad. I know all this. Lin Feng responded confidently. In this way, the family sat and chatted until the afternoon. It was a very happy time. Lin Feng looked at the time. It was already past 3 in the afternoon. Lin Feng stood up and stretched. I didn't expect time to pass so quickly. Time passed while chatting. Mom, we're going back. Lin Feng said lightly. Mother Juggling picked up her phone and checked the time. Going back? Why don't you stay for dinner before going back? It's past 3 now. Juggling said. Let's go back. I'm not going to eat. Lin Feng said. Zhang Yuxi sat obediently at this time and didn't say much. Seeing that her son Lin Feng didn't want to stay for dinner, Juggling, the mother, walked towards Zhang Yuxi again. Yuxi, stay for dinner before going back. Mom will go buy vegetables later. so you don't have to cook again when you go back," Zhou Qilan said gently. Zhang Yuxi saw that Lin Feng's mother was so warm and entertained, and she couldn't bear to refuse. Lin Feng also saw that Zhang Yuxi was a little at a loss, because on the way to his parents' house, Lin Feng had agreed with Zhang Yuxi that he would take her to the movies after he finished dinner with his parents. This movie was what Zhang Yuxi had been looking forward to for a long time. It happened to be the weekend today, and he thought about taking her to the movies after having dinner with her parents. As a result, after dinner, he chatted with his parents for so long, and time passed in a flash. It was already past 3 in the afternoon. "Mom, we are not coming next time. Next time, next time." Lin Feng helped to speak. "It's rare for you to come here. It's almost dinner time anyway. Let's go back after dinner," Mother Zhou Qilan said. She was also kind-hearted and wanted to stay with her son and daughter-in-law for a while. After all, Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi spent most of their time at school, and sometimes the courses were busy, and Lin Feng also had other things to deal with. It was embarrassing for Zhang Yuxi to come alone. So taking advantage of this rare time to come here, let's have dinner together before going back. She knew that young people like to have their own independent space, so Zhou Qilan would not disturb them too much. "Husband, let's stay for dinner. I want to eat another meal of Mom's cooking," Zhang Yuxi said with a smile on her face. After listening to what Lin Feng's mother said, Zhang Yuxi couldn't bear to refuse, but she knew that if she didn't make up her mind, Lin Feng would always help her speak. Because they had agreed in advance to go to the movies after dinner with their parents. But Zhang Yuxi thought that the movie could be watched later, but she didn't have much time to eat with her parents. So she agreed to stay for dinner with her mother Zhou Qilan. Zhang Yuxi didn't want to make Lin Feng's mother unhappy. "Okay, Yuxi, Mom will go buy vegetables right away. Cook what you like." Mother Zhou Qilan was very happy after hearing Zhang Yuxi's words, and said excitedly. Lin Feng saw everything, and he felt very distressed that Zhang Yuxi was so sensible. It seemed that Zhang Yuxi had always been very sensible and considerate, taking care of other people's emotions. So Lin Feng often swore that he would protect and love Zhang Yuxi well in the future. As it turned out, he did it. "Wife, thank you." Lin Feng came to Zhang Yuxi and whispered. "Oh, what are you thanking me for? It should be. I'm very happy and I'm willing to do it," Zhang Yuxi said with a smile on her face. "We'll go to the movie later. I'll take you there after dinner," Lin Feng said lovingly. Yes, Zhang Yuxi nodded obediently. "Mom, hurry up. I'm going on a date with my wife to see a movie tonight," Lin Feng shouted jokingly. Mother Zhou Qilan was just about to change her shoes and go out at this time. "I know, little brat. I won't delay your date," Zhou Qilan smiled and said. "Mom, wait for me. I'll go with you," Zhang Yuxi said. Lin Feng, who was standing aside, looked at Zhang Yuxi in disbelief. "Sure, my silly wife. She is willing to be alone with my mother and took the initiative to go out to buy groceries together? Where does the courage come from?" After Zhang Yuxi stood up, she pinched Lin Feng's cheek with her hand. She glanced at Lin Feng with a proud look. "Humph, don't underestimate me." Of course she knew why Lin Feng looked at her with surprised eyes. He must have thought that he didn't expect that she was still willing to be alone with his mother. Anyway, it's a matter of time. It won't be so embarrassing if you get familiar with it early, Zhang Yuxi thought to herself. What's more, Lin Feng's mother Zhou Qilan is a very good person to get along with. She has a cheerful and generous personality and likes things that young people like. She can also chat with Zhang Yuxi very well. So Zhang Yuxi has no pressure to get along with her. Originally, she was still immersed in the joy that Zhang Yuxi agreed to stay for dinner. Zhou Qilan was even more surprised to hear that her daughter-in-law was going to go shopping with her. What a rare opportunity this is. This is also the first time that Zhang Yuxi is willing to be alone with her. Mother Zhou Qilan was extremely excited. Chapter 1447 Wife, do you want to play 2 games? Okay. I'm so happy, Zhou Qilan said excitedly. At this time, Zhang Yuxi had already picked up her bag and was ready to change her shoes. Lin Feng was still a little worried and couldn't let go of his wife. Wife, how about I go with you? Lin Feng said. Oh, no need. It's okay, Zhang Yuxi said gently. Zhou Qilan saw through her son at a glance, and she was worried about Zhang Yuxi. After all, Zhou Qilan knew how much he doted on Zhang Yuxi. Yuxi, let him go with you. He is worried about you. Stinky boy, Are you afraid that your mother will bully Yuxi? Mother Jokilin said tactfully. Mom loves Yuxi so much, how could she bully her? Lin Feng said jokingly. He knew how well his mother treated Zhang Yuxi, and he still had some confidence. Come on, change your shoes. Clinky ghost. Zhang Yuxi said mischievously. She had no choice but to follow Lin Feng and let him go shopping with her. Then he waved and called Lin Feng to go change shoes and go out. Lin Feng immediately got up and ran to change shoes. He also squatted down to help Zhang Yuxi tie her shoelaces. Jokilin looked at the young couple with a smile on her face, and was very pleased. As long as Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi live a loving and happy life, she would be satisfied. This is also a wish of an elder. Mom, let's go. Zhang Yuxi said excitedly. Let's go and buy vegetables with my daughter-in-law. You stay at home and wait for us to come back. Mother Jokilin said to Lin Dashan on the sofa. Go, go. You are so happy. Father Lin Dashan waved his hand and said. Afterwards, Lin Feng drove his wife and mother to the vegetable market to buy vegetables. When they arrived at the vegetable market, Jokilin immediately walked towards the target. She had already thought about what vegetables to buy on the way here. After all, she already knew clearly what Zhang Yuxi liked to eat, so naturally she would not ask too much. As long as they are the hard dishes that Zhang Yuxi likes to eat, she will arrange them. Mom, isn't it too much? Zhang Yuxi reminded from the side. Jokilin bought a lot of food, as if she was worried that there would not be enough to eat. From this, it can be seen that Jokilin attaches great importance to Zhang Yuxi. It's okay, wife, let her buy it. She is happy today. Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi whispered behind their mother. When buying vegetables today, Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi just followed their mother Jokilin obediently. Lin Feng just helped to carry things, and flirted with Zhang Yuxi at the same time. On the way, they also passed by the boss ladies who knew their mother Jokilin. After all, Jokilin often comes to buy vegetables, and they are all acquaintances. Oh, this is your daughter-in-law, right? Kilin, you are so happy. Daughter-in-law is so beautiful. Son and daughter-in-law come to buy vegetables together. Oh, I'm so jealous. The boss lady said a lot of things. Jokilin was so happy that she couldn't close her mouth. This daughter-in-law is so beautiful. I always heard your mother say how beautiful she is. I saw her today and she is really beautiful. She is so pretty. The lady boss next to her also said. Zhang Yuxi was embarrassed. Her little face was pink and she was too shy to say anything. She held Lin Feng's hand tightly. Thank you, thank you. Zhang Yuxi just said in an awkward whisper. Lin Feng was amused by Zhang Yuxi's cute appearance and looked at her lovingly. Right? I didn't lie to you, did I? My daughter-in-law is really beautiful. Jokilin said excitedly on the side. Yes, you are blessed. The lady boss said enviously. After staying for a few minutes under the praise of the elders, Jokilin took them away. The lady boss was still discussing enviously. Lin Feng carried a lot of things in his left and right hands. He really came back with a lot of things. On the way home, Lin Feng teased his mother Jokilin again. Mom, it seems that you often show off your daughter-in-law to others. Lin Feng said with a smile on his face. That's right. Why do you hide Yuxi when she is so good? Others envy me. Mother Jokilin said proudly. Indeed. Friends around her envy her very much. Her son is so talented and capable, and her daughter-in-law is so outstanding, beautiful and sensible. She praises Zhang Yuxi to everyone she meets. I'm not talking nonsense. I only say that because Yuxi is really good. Mother Jokilin said proudly. Ha 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 ha. There was laughter in the car. Zhang Yuxi was also amused by Jokilin's words. She felt nothing but happiness at this moment. Jokilin brought her son and daughter-in-law home after buying groceries. She immediately started to prepare dinner for tonight. She also wanted to quickly prepare the meal so that Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi could go on a date and watch a movie after dinner. When Mother Jokilin brought the dishes to the kitchen, Father Lin Dashan also followed in, ready to help. At this time, Zhang Yuxi also came over and came to her mother Jokilin. Mom, is there anything I can help you with? Zhang Yuxi asked obediently. No, Mom and Dad will do it in a while. Mother Jokilin said dotingly. How about I wash the vegetables? Zhang Yuxi saw that there were some vegetables that had not been washed next to her, and hurriedly said. Then she picked up the vegetables and prepared to go to the sink, but was stopped by her mother Jokilin. Lin Feng's father also hurriedly snatched the basket of vegetables. Yuxi, Dad is coming. You go sit outside. Lin Feng's father Lin Dashan said. It's okay, Dad, I can do it. Zhang Yuxi said. Yuxi, Mom will make you delicious food. You go wait outside. Mother Zhou Qilin smiled and said. At this time, Lin Feng also came over and heard the conversation between his parents and Zhang Yuxi. Wife, come out quickly and watch TV with me. Mom and Dad will do it. Lin Feng also said dotingly. Zhang Yuxi realized that there was really no room for her to help, so she obediently went to the living room. Wife, do you want to play 2 games? Lin Feng asked. He was worried that Zhang Yuxi would feel bored, so the two of them played games together, and time would pass faster, and it would be just in time for dinner. Come on. Zhang Yuxi smiled and said. Then they both took out their mobile phones and opened the game software. Teamy this familiar voice. Lin Feng rarely plays games. Since he got together with Zhang Yuxi, he spent every day with Zhang Yuxi except doing business. There is no extra time to play games, and if there is free time, it is to accompany Zhang Yuxi. It just so happens that they can play 2 games while waiting for dinner, and it can also help Zhang Yuxi relieve her boredom. Chapter 1448, 5 Black Friends with Roommates. After entering, Lin Feng found that Chen Kun and the others were also online, so he wanted to invite them to play in a 5-person team. Wife, how about playing in a 5-person team? Let's invite Chen Kun and the others to join us. Lin Feng asked. Yes, that's more fun. Zhang Yuxi suddenly became excited and said. In this way, Lin Feng invited Chen Kun, Suhi, Chen Donggyun and other roommates to play in a 5-person team. As soon as they were invited in, they were already chattering. Damn. Why is the boss playing pesticide today? Is the boss not going on a date with his sister-in-law? Suhi said excitedly on the other end of the phone. 5-person team, 5-person team. The boss is leading the team. Chen Donggyun was still shouting loudly. Indeed. Lin Feng is still very good at playing games. Although he doesn't play much, he still operates very well. For him, these games are a piece of cake. Since he was reborn, he has acquired many abilities that he didn't have before. So many things in life can be easily solved. These brothers are really noisy. Lin Feng only has one mouth, how can he answer them one by one? Just let them talk about their own things and have fun. Okay, let's start. Lin Feng said lightly. Because Zhang Yuxi can only play the mage and a few soft supports, Lin Feng's brothers all let Zhang Yuxi choose first. Sister-in-law, come and help grab it. Chen Kun said. Don't underestimate my wife. The mage is super powerful. Lin Feng said proudly. I know it. We brothers know the level of sister-in-law. Suhi said with a sour feeling. They often eat dog food from Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi, and they have become accustomed to it over time. In this way, Lin Feng Li Bai is the jungler. Zhang Yuxi is Wang Xiaojun in the middle, Chen Donggyun is Lian Po in the top lane, Chen Kun is the shooter Marco Polo in the development lane, and Suhi is Princess Yao Iao in the support. Less than a minute into the game, Lin Feng, the jungler, took down the head on the top lane of the opponent. Oh, that's good, husband. Zhang Yuxi, who was standing by, praised. It's a must. Your husband is really good at games. Lin Feng said with a smug look on his face. At this time, Lin Feng was using the game voice chat. So sour. So sour. Blow several roommates shouted from the other side of the phone. They were obviously soured by the conversation between Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi. Zhang Yuxi laughed unconsciously. As a result, while the two of them were talking, Wang Xiaojun, played by Zhang Yuxi, was killed instantly by the jungler and mid laner of the opponent. Oh, I'm dead. When I was talking to you, the jungler of the opponent suddenly appeared and I didn't have time to use flash. Zhang Yuxi licked her lips and said. Silly wife, see how I avenge you. Torture the opponent. Lin Feng said. Suhi, come and fight with me. Then he said to Suhi. Princess Yao Iao, played by Suhi, immediately followed Lin Feng to fight with him. It was easily obtained. Then he went directly to catch the opponent's shooter, and the opponent's shooter was killed in less than a few seconds. After killing the blue, Lin Feng went directly to the middle lane to help Zhang Yuxi catch the opponent's middle lane. Wife, go. Lin Feng's Li Bai went in directly to scrape, and then Zhang Yuxi also cooperated perfectly. Lin Feng also left the head to Zhang Yuxi, and then Zhang Yuxi directly took away the opponent's middle lane with one skill. 666. Awesome. Well done. At this time, Lin Feng's roommates and brothers also sent these signals tactfully. Ha 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 ha. Zhang Yuxi couldn't help laughing. I picked up a head for nothing. Zhang Yuxi said self-deprecatingly. No, this is my wife's strength. Lin Feng said with a smile on his face. In this way, throughout the game, Lin Feng kept the rhythm of the jungle, and from time to time he gave the blue to Zhang Yuxi. After all, he knew that Wang Xiaojin consumed the blue, and he went to steal the blue of the opponent. In less than 15 minutes, the opponent surrendered. The MVP jungler must be Lin Feng. Boss. Awesome. You are still as strong as before. Chen Dongyun said admiringly. Nonsense. Boss is an all-rounder. Playing with him is a win without effort. Chen Kun also flattered him and said. You guys have been playing for so long and are still rookies. Lin Feng complained mercilessly. Several of them have not reached the king level after playing for so long, and have been hovering around the star glory level. I really don't know how they play. Lin Feng looked at their ranks and couldn't help laughing. I thought I could reach the king level once when I played with boss, and I never got angry again. Ha 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 ha. Chen Dongyun also laughed at himself. Oh, you guys are so rubbish. Lin Feng shook his head and said. Let's start, boss. Play now and win more games. Chen Kun shouted excitedly. Just like that, another game started. Zhang Yuxi was still allowed to play in the middle lane, and this time she chose Angela. Lin Feng continued to play jungle. Although he was an all-rounder and could play every hero, he had a better rhythm in jungle. His roommates were not very good at jungle, so he could only continue to play jungle. In less than 20 minutes, he won another game. In the whole game, Lin Feng took 23 heads by himself, and the MVP was beyond doubt. After playing back and forth for 3 or 4 games, Lin Feng's parents also prepared the meal. No more playing. Let's eat first. Lin Feng said quickly, and then left. Yuxi, it's time to eat. Mother Jocelyn said with a smile. At this time, Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi immediately got up and went to the bathroom to wash their hands. Then they sat down at the dining table. Lin Feng went to prepare food for Zhang Yuxi and asked Zhang Yuxi to wait obediently. Zhang Yuxi wanted to get up and help with the meal, but she didn't have the chance. Yuxi, just wait and let Lin Feng help you. Lin Feng's mother Jocelyn said. At this time, Lin Feng had already helped his wife and mother to prepare the meal. Dad, you can solve it yourself. Lin Feng said jokingly. His father Lin Dashan just smiled and said nothing more. Lin Feng, give Yuxi another bowl. Give her some soup, I made it specially. Jocelyn called out. Lin Feng had no choice but to go back and get the bowl, and then helped Zhang Yuxi to serve the soup. Next, the family had a happy dinner together. Mom's cooking is amazing. So delicious, Zhang Yuxi said happily. Which is better, Mom's cooking or my cooking? Lin Feng deliberately asked a tricky question to tease Zhang Yuxi and see how she would answer. Ha ha ha. Of course it's Mom. Zhang Yuxi said without hesitation. You want me to fall into the trap, but I won't. At this time, I have to say that Mom's cooking is delicious no matter what. Although Zhang Yuxi thought Lin Feng's cooking was delicious. After all, the two of them spend a lot of time together, and Lin Feng is more familiar with her taste and understands it better, so it is naturally more suitable for her taste. But if you have to compare with Lin Feng's mother, then Lin Feng will have to be wronged. Sure enough, the old ones are still the best. Lin Feng also said with a smile. Of course, he knew what Zhang Yuxi meant by saying this. So he would just go with the flow and stand on Zhang Yuxi's side. Hee. There was laughter again at the dinner table. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 1449. It's more fun to watch a movie with fewer people. What time will the movie start? Will you make it in time? Mother Jocelyn asked with concern. In time. It's just 6 o'clock now. Lin Feng responded. That's good. I went shopping for groceries and came back early today, so we can eat at 5 o'clock. Mother Jocelyn said. Yeah, Dad and Mom have worked hard. Zhang Yuxi said with a smile on her face. Every time she came to Lin Feng's parents' house for a meal, her parents took it very seriously. They always planned what vegetables to buy and where to buy fresh ingredients a day in advance. Then they always prepared a large table of Zhang Yuxi's favorite dishes. So Zhang Yuxi has always been grateful and tried her best to repay them. She often bought all kinds of things and gifts for Lin Feng's parents. In this way, she thanked them for their kindness to her. It's not hard. Dad and Mom are so happy. When you have time, just come back and have dinner with us, Mother Juggling said. As long as you come back, Dad will put down the work at hand and take a day off from the company. Just waiting for you to come back for dinner. At this time, Father Lin Dashan also spoke up. Isn't it very close? About an hour's journey. We often come to eat and you're annoyed. Lin Feng said jokingly. That's the best. I wish Yuxi would come every day, Mother Juggling said with a smile. That won't work. It will be hard for Mom to cook. Every time we come, you have to prepare a table of delicious dishes, Zhang Yuxi said with a distressed look. But Mom and Dad have time to come to our place. Let Yuxi cook delicious food for you. Then Zhang Yuxi said with a smile. This silly girl. The number one in cheating her husband. Lin Feng smiled bitterly. Dad and Mom won't go when you are in class. It's rare for you to have your own space after class. Dad and Mom can go there if they have time on weekends, Juggling said very tactfully. Lin Feng's parents are very reasonable. However, they don't interfere too much in Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi's life. Let them live their own lives freely. Moreover, she also felt that Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi had a day of classes, and it was also a headache to deal with their parents when they came back. So Juggling still thought that they should have their own independent space. Do whatever you want, she will not interfere. Besides, Mom sometimes has to go out with your dad for a romantic date. Juggling continued to smile mischievously. When young people date, Juggling is also more fashionable and has to keep up with the pace of young people. Occasionally go out for a romantic meal with Lin Feng's father. Life is not just about firewood, rice, oil, salt, sauce, vinegar and tea. Mom and Dad are good. Catch up with the pace of us young people. Lin Feng joked. Hey, women are like this, they like to make a mess. Then let her go, so that life will be peaceful. Father Lin Dashan said lightly. It seems to be complaining, but in fact, it is also another way to tolerate and accommodate Lin Feng's mother Juggling. Lin Feng looked at his parents so loving now, and he smiled with satisfaction. Since the appearance of Zhang Yuxi, the relationship between Lin's father and mother has been getting better and better. Zhang Yuxi may be the lucky star of their family. It was already 6:30, and after eating dinner for almost an hour while chatting, Lin Feng was going to take Zhang Yuxi out to the cinema to watch a movie. Zhang Yuxi helped to clean up the dishes. Even if Lin Feng and his mother Juggling didn't need it, she was still very sensible to help clean up. Lin Feng had to accompany her to help. Just like that, after cleaning up, Lin Feng took Zhang Yuxi out. Mom and Dad, we're going out, Zhang Yuxi said before going out. Okay, go. Have fun, Juggling said with a smile. Suddenly, she was still a little reluctant to leave this daughter-in-law, and didn't know when they would meet next time. It might not be long, and the distance was quite close, but Juggling was still reluctant. Just like that, a day with parents on the weekend ended. After saying goodbye, Lin Feng took Zhang Yuxi's hand and hurried to the cinema. Lin Feng drove to the parking lot downstairs of the mall. He found a good spot to park the car. He took Zhang Yuxi to the elevator from the underground first floor directly to the cinema floor on the 6th floor. Because Lin Feng had bought the tickets in advance. The movie started at 7:40. When he arrived at the cinema, Lin Feng went to get the money first, and then went to the front desk to buy drinks and popcorn. These were prepared for Zhang Yuxi. Lin Feng raised his hand and looked at his watch. At this time, there were still 10 minutes before 7:40. They hurried over and there was still plenty of time. Lin Feng took the drinks and popcorn from the salesperson, and then Zhang Yuxi took the popcorn naturally. Because she was worried that it would be inconvenient for Lin Feng to hold 2 drinks and a bucket of popcorn, she took it very sensibly after seeing it. Wife, do you want to go to the bathroom? We're going in now, and the movie will start soon, Lin Feng said. Yes, honey, I'm going to the bathroom first, Zhang Yuxi responded. Then the two checked their tickets. Zhang Yuxi temporarily handed the popcorn to Lin Feng and went to the bathroom. After coming out, Lin Feng took Zhang Yuxi's hand and walked into Hall 5 where they were watching the movie. There were not many people in the cinema at this time, and there were very few people in the seats. Including Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi, there were only 2 or 3 people left. Because this movie had been released in the early stage, but Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi were busy and did not take the time to watch it. But Lin Feng always remembered this matter. He remembered that Zhang Yuxi had never been able to watch the movie she wanted to watch, so he decided to bring her here after dinner at his parents' house today. It was delayed until now, and the audience who wanted to watch it had basically watched it. So at this time, there were only a few empty seats. Zhang Yuxi walked in front. It was pitch black. She could only look closer and then find her seat. Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi came to their seats and sat down, and the movie just started playing at this time. "Honey, there are so few people," Zhang Yuxi whispered beside Lin Feng's ear. "That's not good." Lin Feng also whispered in Zhang Yuxi's ear. "Indeed. It's more fun to watch a movie with fewer people." Chapter 1450, A True Two-Way Run. Lin Feng handed the drink to Zhang Yuxi and helped her adjust the seat. Lin Feng chose a seat that was relatively far back, in the middle, and the seat also had the best view for watching the movie. There were a few people in front of them. There were only 5 people watching the movie together. Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi sat in the back as they felt comfortable. With fewer people, they were more casual. At this time, the movie had already started. Zhang Yuxi watched the movie seriously, and Lin Feng stared at Zhang Yuxi from time to time. This feeling seemed to have returned to the first time he watched a movie with Zhang Yuxi. Zhang Yuxi was shy from time to time, and Lin Feng held her hand carefully. It was young and beautiful. Thinking of this, Lin Feng smiled unconsciously again. "Husband, why are you laughing so foolishly? Don't watch the movie properly." Zhang Yuxi looked at Lin Feng in confusion and said in a low voice. "Wife, I thought of the first time we watched TV together. We were so funny at that time." Lin Feng couldn't control himself more and more as he spoke, and kept laughing foolishly. Zhang Yuxi was also amused by Lin Feng's silly smile, and they say that laughter is contagious. "Hush! Stop it!" Zhang Yuxi pinched Lin Feng's cheek and said. Then she ignored Lin Feng and continued to watch the movie. Of course, Lin Feng was obedient. Since his wife had spoken, he immediately restrained himself. He accompanied Zhang Yuxi to watch the movie obediently. He also put his coat on his shoulders in front of Zhang Yuxi. Since the first time he went out to watch a movie with Zhang Yuxi, he has always had a habit of bringing an extra coat. Because under normal circumstances, the air conditioning in the cinema is turned on at a relatively low level, and this time there are fewer people, it is even colder. So every time he takes Zhang Yuxi out to watch a movie, he has always kept these little details. "Wife, are you cold?" Lin Feng asked with concern, and then helped Zhang Yuxi put on her coat. "It's okay. Thank you, husband, love you." Zhang Yuxi said a few words casually, and then watched the movie seriously again. After all, this is a movie she has been waiting for a long time, so at this time, she only has the movie in her eyes, and doesn't care too much about Lin Feng beside her. And every time Lin Feng accompanied her to watch the movie, although Lin Feng always liked to tease her deliberately during the movie, she was used to it. When Lin Feng heard Zhang Yuxi's perfunctory response to him, he was also amused by Zhang Yuxi's fascination. Forget it. Spoil your own wife. After watching the movie for nearly 2 hours, it was almost 10 o'clock. Lin Feng walked out of the cinema, holding Zhang Yuxi's hand, and went to the parking lot to get the car. "Wife, are you hungry? Do you want to eat anything else?" Lin Feng asked. Zhang Yuxi looked at Lin Feng with round eyes. "Do you think I'm a pig? I came out from my parents' house after dinner, and I watched the movie and drank drinks and ate popcorn. I'm so full," Zhang Yuxi said in a coquettish tone. "Ha ha ha. You are a stupid pig," Lin Feng said mischievously. "Stinky husband. You are the pig." Zhang Yuxi rolled her eyes at Lin Feng and said proudly. Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi lovingly and stroked her hair. "Then shall we go home?" He smiled and said. Yes. Go back and take a shower. I have to go to school tomorrow." Zhang Yuxi nodded and responded. Then Lin Feng took Zhang Yuxi home after picking up the car. It happened that they drove directly to the mall near their new house to watch a movie after leaving their parents' house. So it was only about 10 minutes away from home, very close. After returning home, Lin Feng walked to the bathroom, prepared the bath water for Zhang Yuxi, and let her take a good bath. This has become Lin Feng's habit. Whenever he goes out and comes home, he will take the initiative to help Zhang Yuxi prepare the bath water as soon as possible. Naturally, since the two of them lived together, what Lin Feng didn't do before, he automatically knew how to do it after being with Zhang Yuxi. Zhang Yuxi was in the bathroom removing her makeup and washing her face. Wife, the bath water is ready. Lin Feng reminded. Yeah, thank you, husband, Zhang Yuxi responded cutely. Then Lin Feng went out to wait on the sofa in the living room, and by the way, he looked for any work matters that needed to be dealt with today. In less than a moment, Zhang Yuxi's voice came from the bathroom. Husband, Zhang Yuxi shouted. Lin Feng hurriedly put down the computer in his hand and ran over. Wife, what's wrong? Lin Feng asked. Pajamas, I forgot to take them. Zhang Yuxi smiled and said. You are really a stupid pig. Silly wife forgets things. Lin Feng said. He has long been accustomed to Zhang Yuxi's little problem of losing things. In daily life, it often happens. So if Zhang Yuxi is allowed to go out alone, he will not allow it. He is really worried. I am afraid that she will lose herself. So how can he be at ease? As long as he goes out, Lin Feng will put down everything on hand and accompany Zhang Yuxi no matter what. This is why Lin Feng has always been able to give Zhang Yuxi enough sense of security and steadiness. These are all done by Lin Feng one by one. Horizontal ellipsis. Lin Feng went to the bedroom again and got pajamas for Zhang Yuxi. Silly wife, your pajamas, Lin Feng said lovingly. Zhang Yuxi smiled and took the pajamas without saying anything. Then Lin Feng left and went to the sofa in the living room again to pick up the computer to handle business. After a while, Zhang Yuxi came out of the shower. Husband, you should take a shower too, Zhang Yuxi said slowly. Yes, soon, almost done, Lin Feng responded. Then he turned his head to look at Zhang Yuxi and found that she had wet hair. This silly girl, Lin Feng said to himself. At this time, Zhang Yuxi was about to blow dry her hair, and Lin Feng came over and naturally took the hairdryer from Zhang Yuxi. Sit down, Lin Feng said. Zhang Yuxi immediately sat down obediently and let Lin Feng help her blow dry her hair. These things have become the norm in their lives. Lin Feng's care for Zhang Yuxi can be said to be meticulous. He is very considerate and caring. There should be no girl who doesn't want her partner to be like this. Raymond Lam is very clear with others and knows how to keep a distance from the opposite sex. Moreover, Raymond Lam gives others the impression of being very cold and not easy to approach. But in front of Zhang Yuxi, he is a real warm man. It turns out that loving someone means giving your all without reservation. He will only warm one person and pamper you alone. Therefore, in the eyes of her bestie, Zhang Yuxi is the happiest person. Everyone around her can see how much Raymond Lam loves him. Of course, they can also see how much she loves Raymond Lam. The two of them are truly running towards each other. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.